welcome back, one and all, to Maniacal Music Musings. I'm your host, Jeremy, as always, and I'm just here sitting under the moon, well, somehow, wondering how many times I'd listen to my co host album choices. God help me. God help me every fucking day of my life. Pretty soon I'll have to release some Southwest voodoo on his piggy pie ass. Then, boom! Hocus pocus. He'll finally know the pain of the private pain of techno. That's right, double the pain, motherfucker. Speaking of my penguin of a co-host, though, he don't need a man, but he's a Billy Badass all by himself. He's got a woolly muffler from being a flagpole sitter while wearing his old hat. His first rule is don't touch his preschool prostitute or it will be an endless apocalypse with problems and bigger ones somehow. He lives in the House of Horrors, and Boogie Woogie Woo is his roommate. So welcome back, Chancy motherfucking Rife.
Hi.
The anticipation every
Patient.
time. Yes, welcome back to another episode of
That's
Maniacal Music
that's
Musings.
got to be one of my favorite things about this episode. I'm literally dying over here. Oh God.
And yes, folks, Chancy is dying. Well, actually, okay, Chancy's not really dying.
Metaphorically speaking.
I'm sick. Our guest is getting over being sick, and Chancy's just sick in the head to begin with. So,
Well, I'm not sick. I'm not sick, but I'm not well.
This is true. This is very, very true, folks. But before Chancey gets even more unwell, let's welcome our guest on. He's a stand-up comedian, Mr. Glen Tickle, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello,
I love
friend.
that fucking last name.
It served me well.
I'm sure. I mean, how many women must you have gone up to your life and be like, they call me Tickle, Glen Tickle?
I've gotten a weird number of people messaging me with screenshots of like women on dating apps whose like first name is Tess, and they're like, if your last name is Tickle, I will marry you immediately. And I have like a different version of that joke. And when I started doing it, my mom's like, that joke has been in our family for hundreds of years. I'm like, yeah, but I made it art, you know? Like I put some work into it. I squeezed money out of this dumb joke.
So okay, but for real though, I gotta ask.
Yeah.
How many times do you swipe right when you come across them profiles where you're like, yo, what's up?
I mean, I've been married to a woman I met when we were in the 7th grade, so I've never actually used dating apps.
Who's got two thumbs and who's got one thumb and feels like an asshole? This guy.
It's weird though, because like when I remember when they came out, it's like I thought like the novelty of it seemed interesting, but it's like I don't want to like date anybody. I just want to see who a computer thinks I should date.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I kind of see that, though they're always
I'm pretty
wrong,
sure it would just be
so-
like your wife, dummy. Go on a date with your wife who you love.
I would do.
I'd look at my phone like, did my wife get to this? Did my wife get to this somehow? Like, what the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck?
If I ever had a daughter or like something like that, just like, you know, if they were, you know, when they got older as a teenager or whatever, like, listen, young lady, you were this close to be naming Contessa, all right? To being named Contessa. And they'd be like, why? Well, Tess is a nickname for Contessa. And then just draw the whole thing. I'm obviously not a professional comedian, but you know.
You can punch that up.
He plays one on TV though. He plays one on TV, folks.
But, no, I'm actually pretty sure that if I try, like with my job that I never can discuss, it's like I have a secret, you know, G12 classified government job.
Yeah.
I could tell stories about some of the things I've encountered through the job, if ever someday I could. That would definitely make up for at least a good 30-minute set, like stand-up set.
That's what I try to make it sound like when I meet people and I don't want to tell them I'm a comedian. I just try to make it, I just like talk about work vaguely until the goal being they think I'm some kind of military contractor.
Oh, nice.
No, I travel a lot because I got to go tell people dumb jokes. But the second you tell somebody you're a comedian, they're like, "Oh, tell me a joke." I don't want to.
I got one for you. I got one for you. That doesn't even have to be vague and conspiratorial. When they ask you what you do, you say, "I travel a lot to make people's lives less miserable."
I assassinate people professionally.
There's your follow up because they're gonna go. Yeah. That's your follow up because they're gonna be like, "Well, what do you do to make their lives less miserable?" Well, I end it for them.
Well, okay.
I got
I
my
mean, if
trusty
that's at all
hatchet.
true, if that's true at all, that we might have to talk after the show's over. Just saying, but well, Glenn. Well, one, what kind of comedy do you do? I'm kind of curious about that. I didn't get a chance to
I
YouTube
would
you or
say
anything.
the polite narcissism. if I had to
Polite.
boil it down.
That's a fucking oxymoron, sir. Polite narcissism.
No, you can be nice about it. It's just I like talking about myself more than like I don't. Most of the jokes are like stories about things that have happened to me.
Oh, so you're okay. So you're talking about non-toxic narcissism.
Yeah, not the malignant.
All right. Now we're on the same page because I was like,
first album came out and it went up on Pandora. I was really excited because it'll like you put it in an album and then Pandora's like, oh, you like this? You'll also love this, this, and this. So I put my own album in to see who it thought I would also enjoy. And it was Paul F. Tompkins, if you're familiar with him, was the first one, and that made me feel great. But then I looked and they put tags on it for like how they qualify it, and it was like clean comedy, family stories, I think was the other one. The one I remember most was self-satisfied delivery. And it's like, damn, Pandora. Like,
damn.
I mean, you cut me to the bone, but like that's
right.
100% accurate. Like no one enjoys hearing me tell jokes more than I do. I am very self-satisfied. They nailed it.
That's me in a nutshell too. I mean, fuck. That's all my podcasters I work with. But well, as always, folks, we had Glenn pick an album to bring to try to impress me and Chancy in ways. And what album did you want to bring, Glenn?
Oh, I didn't realize I was supposed to impress you. I brought Where Have All the Merrymakers Gone by my favorite band, Harvey Danger, a band I decided was my favorite band in like 8th grade. And I'm 40 now, so I'm pretty sure it's just gonna stick. I don't see them getting unseated anytime soon. This was their first album featuring the song Flagpole Sitta, the one everybody knows, the one people erroneously think is called Paranoia.
Yeah, right.
Also, I remember getting it off of Napster in high school. It kept being credited to Weezer instead of Harvey Danger.
I could see that. But
it's been so long since I've heard somebody talk about Napster. I feel like we bonded on so many levels because I'm 38, so it's like, oh my god.
Yeah, I did a set the other day at a record store, so I wanted it to do like material about bands and musicians and stuff. So I mentioned a cassette tape that I listened to a lot in the 6th grade, and the two record store owners were like older than me, so like, we get it. And then the guy shooting it is younger than me. He's like, I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
Jesus help this world. But
yeah.
I'm gonna let Chancy go first with a review for your album on this week's episode. I feel like he hasn't gone. I feel like he hasn't gone after the guests in a long time. So.
Well, let's not church it up, Jeremy. You just want your album to go last because this is your one opportunity to be like, oh, this is the greater of the da 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 da, because he actually because he actually chose a good album for once in my lifetime.
Oh, shut up! You said before.
I'll go. Like I said, I will graciously give my review for this album next, sir.
Why thank you, wise Pharaoh. Now come on.
So really torn, right? So like I only ever knew of the band from Flagpole Sitta. Mm-hmm. Absolutely fucking adored. I still love Flagpole Sitta. Like I basically know all the words to it almost at any time. But then like I listened to it And it was just like, it was almost like Flagpole should have been on a different album.
I can see that. Yeah.
Like this album, like every other part of this album felt like it was a band trying to get their feet wet, like get their feet underneath them for their first album kind of thing. And then you have this fucking rocket ship like Flagpole that just fucking takes you right straight to, you know, where you need like maybe an album or two to get to. Not to say that I didn't like the album.
I mean, it
Pardon
was
me.
like their big single, so it's like you're not alone in that assessment. That was really the only one that like kind of hit. They had a couple others that they tried to float as singles that didn't do that well off this album, and then also later. But yeah, like that was their big breakout, and even the band, like the band has said they stopped playing it after a while because it was like the one thing people wanted from them, and they were, you know, Gen X Seattle kids, so they're like, we're not going to do what you tell us to do.
Right.
So they would go and do shows but not play the one song that everybody wanted to hear, which I'm sure drove people nuts. But
I can respect that.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I would have been happy to have heard the other stuff, but still been pissed that they didn't, you know, like encore with it or something, like, you know.
Oh, speaking of which, Chancy. Speaking of which, I told you my coworker went and saw Meshuggah and Lamb of God, or not Lamb of God, in Flames this past weekend. Guess what song Meshuggah opens the set with?
Opens the set?
Yep.
Oh, Bleed.
Yeah, I was amazed. I thought it'd be the closing song.
No way, dude. That he has to get that out of the way right out the gate because of the fact that like it requires so much of him that if he does it towards the end of the show, he's not 100% sure if he can actually do the thing. Like even talking to like interviews talking about recording it onto the album, his biggest concern was not being able to get it down right in time to get it recorded in time for the fucking deadline for the album. Like it's fucking sorry Glenn, this is a complete
I don't know this song. What is it, like a technical feat that he has to do?
So Meshuggah's they're called like Gent, but it's a heavy metal band from I don't remember the name of the country they're from. Okay, so here's the ticket, right? You know how on drums you get a lot of like timing stuff done up here, you know, like normally it's like, you know, for keeping time, it goes like it goes floor high. It goes the opposite direction on this song specifically. Like he literally plays the bass drums at 30-second notes, which is like just, but I can't even go fast enough to do it justice. But he's literally doing the do da part all up here on the top part of the fucking drum set. Like
he's just stomping away.
and honestly, if you watch drum cams of it, it looks like he's fucking bored. He's just sitting there and he's just, and the whole time these hands are just doing, the whole time these hands are just doing this. It's just literally like fucking. It's like, what the fuck? Then not only is it that he does like 3 separate tempo changes, staying within the same note range kind of stuff. Like it's the kind of thing that like professional drummers go to watch. Bill Burr, I'm sure you know of Bill Burr.
Yeah.
Obviously. But like he is learning or trying to learn how to play drums and stuff. And his instructor told him to go see these guys, and went and saw him and went and got in the VIP area and said that he saw a bunch of professional drummers there just to watch it because of that.
Yeah,
but it's one of those things. But you know, also completely off topic and fucking.
I mean, the opposite of that is like what you said about Harvey Danger, where the album feels like they're just trying to get their feet under them. which is true. I forget where, and I'm probably misquoting it, but they said at the time, they're like, yeah, we're like the epitome of the band that doesn't know how to play their instruments when we went to record the album. Like they like kind of got together, like didn't really blow up, but like we're doing well in Seattle like pretty quickly, and then they're like, oh well, now we have this chance to record an album. We don't really know what we're doing yet, and then they went ahead and did it anyway. And I think in not that there's a ton of Harvey Danger fans out there, but like it's not their best album. Flagpole Sit is not their best song by a long shot, where like if you're going to see them because that's the one song you want to hear and you see them, they don't play it, I could see why it would be disappointing. I've seen them twice, and it was both times they did play it. The first time, it was a couple years before they broke up finally, and it was the opening band. I forget the name of it, but like there were these really young kids, and they were so excited to go on tour with Harvey Danger because they were such big fans, and they're like, fine, we'll play it. Like they were playing it for these kids, so they came out and like they let that band on stage and they played it together.
Oh, that's cool though.
And it was a lot of fun. And then I saw them on the farewell tour, and on that one they played literally every song they have, like
that's awesome
three
too.
albums, all the B-sides, and it's like it was like a 3.5-hour show, and it was incredible for me, a guy who absolutely loves this band. But like I was there with some friends, and my best friend also really likes them, but we were there with I think his girlfriend at the time and my wife, and at like hour 3 they started to look a little bored, I gotta say.
Right. Well, naturally, yeah, that's understandable.
Yeah.
For me, I guess for me, the reason Flagpole did a hit with me like it did was like when I came across it and how much it resonated with me. Like I was
the Disturbing Behavior soundtrack. Is that where you found it?
No. Actually, it was through Napster that I found it.
Oh, nice.
Like I literally like came across it. Like I think it was because of the name of the song called Flagpole Sitta. Or possibly because I was looking for some Rodney Dangerfield stuff, and I saw Harvey Danger, and I was like, oh, well,
Yeah, I think it was in the trailer for the movie Disturbing Behavior, which is where I think I heard it the first time. I was like, this.
You're right. You're right, though. It isn't one of those. I do remember being in a '90s trailer for sure.
Yeah, and that was I think that's kind of what blew them up. Because everybody heard it, it's like, oh, that's pretty good. But then everybody else got the album. Like you said, it does kind of stand out against the other songs, where it's not it's not an album of 12 Flagpole Sittas. It's like
right, which nothing's go. Sorry, Jeremy.
I mean, you're right. It's not an album of 12 Flagpole Sittas by far, because like Chancy, that's the only song by this band I ever heard of, and like literally, I don't even. I think when I first got your album, I was literally clicking through different songs just to see what they sound like, and I hit that song, and I didn't even like know that I didn't know that song by name by any freaking means. So I hit it, and I was like, "Wait a minute, I recognize this opening. I recognize this song. Oh, I'm like, oh, I wonder if the rest of the music's like this. Nope, but
really?
I mean, it was. I mean, not a bad way, not a bad way at all. But it was the epitome, of like. This is a soundtrack song from the early 2000s. It was in American Pie. It was in so many movies from the early 2000s. Accepted, I think it was into. I know it wasn't Scooby Doo 2 Monsters Unleashed. It was on the soundtrack for that, because I looked up to see where it was. I looked up to see if I could find a list of soundtracks that was on. And that's the only one. That's the only one I found that actually like it was listed as being on the soundtrack for that one. But I know it was in Malcolm in the Middle for an episode. I'm pretty sure at least part of it.
I mean, it was the theme song for Peep Show for I think most.
I think
never watched
it. It was, but I never watched Peep Show.
So many of my comedy friends love this show. I can't get over the POV. It bugs me so much. It feels like such a weird gimmick. Yeah. I can't get into anything beyond like the fact that it's shot in first person. Just drives me insane.
Oh, dude. I have a move. I have a recommendation that could change your mind for that.
Let's hear it.
Maniac. You know the old 80s slasher film Maniac from back in the day? Okay. Well, back in the 80s, they made this slasher film called Maniac. It's about a guy who's got a lot of problems, yada yada yada. Doesn't matter. Okay. And one of the things that people remember the most about it is Tom Savini was involved in the special effects, And then there's a scene where Tom Savini dies, but in the shot, he shoots. So Tom Savini does the shot, so he plays the killer, and then he actually shoots a full bust of himself that's loaded with brains and whatnot with a live shotgun round. So he basically shoots himself in the face. And it was a big deal because of obviously being so realistic, because it was literally fucking real. But like they did a remake of that movie, and I don't remember the exact year that they did it. However, they got Elijah Wood to play the bad guy, and as the little twist that they were going to do for the reboot, they did everything that you see through the Maniac is POV. So like you'll see, and it's not even really much of a spoiler for you, but like there's this one scene where he's like kind of stalking this girl trying to get her, and you literally just watch him like cut her Achilles tendon with a blade or whatever, and then it
You
just
get a lot of
shows
that with Friday the 13th too. Like not everything, but you get a lot of POV shots.
So yeah, on
with,
the original one,
Jason,
yeah, and Jason's, yes, to some degree, but this is like
Oh right,
above.
this
It's
is
totally above and beyond. It's above and beyond.
That came out in 2012, Chancy. I just Googled
Thanks. Thank you, buddy. But it's like, I think it's credited as being like, it's one of the first movies where it had the most, because it was like at least mid 80s to 90% of the time it's POV through Elijah Wood's, point of view. It's still really good, because like I was, I'm kind of the same, where I don't really like POV stuff on movies because it's really kind of tacky.
I think it's just it feels so gimmicky in Peep Show, and like Mitchell and Webb did a sketch show with a lot of the same people that I love. It was that Mitchell and Webb look is one of my favorite sketch shows of all time. So it's not that I don't like them or think they're. It's just I can't get over the camera stuff. And
right.
It immediately takes me out of it, because this, like, every time they switch, I just picture, well, now they're just staring down the barrel of a camera. I can't get that image out of my head to like focus on what's happening in the scene.
Yeah, I get what you're saying there, but there's there's one scene in particular where he goes into a bathroom and you can see his reflection, but you don't see the camera. So like it almost kind of helps to immerse you even further into the overall experience.
POV as a whole puts me off, but just like the combination of it's POV, it keeps changing.
That'll do, yeah.
It's like a lot of it's shot with like a weird wide angle lens, so everything like looks weirdly rounded. Like it just, I can't.
The fisheye lens, yeah. Yeah, I mean, okay, yeah, that makes sense. So at least this movie might give you the idea as to whether it's just the fisheye lens but it's totally recommendable. Fucking definitely an awesome movie.
Well, the only time I'll say that first person POV is okay is that one scene at the end of the Doom movie.
That's Shut up! I knew you were going to say that garbage, man.
No, because that was just like playing the game back in the day. So that was freaking awesome.
I mean, that's the joke. Like that's what they're going for.
Right.
Joke's the right word, but yeah.
Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Yeah, that was that's Chappie moment of like, hey, you guys remember like before?
Right. Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Remember berries, remember. You gotta go with the more current joke, Chancy. But
all right, yes, Jeremy, your review.
Well, as I was saying, I mean, this Flagpole said it was like a iconic 2000s, early 2000s like theme song for a lot of different things. Like I must have heard it in probably 5 or 6 different TV shows at least 20 different movies. It's at least one song in it.
It popped up quite a bit.
It did. And I mean, this CD is nothing like that song though, and it's not a bad thing. It's not I'm not gonna say it's not a great thing, because it kind of differs them and it makes them great. And some of the songs in this album, I'm gonna say right away, I was just like sitting there like, is this over yet? Is this over yet? But other songs in this album, I was definitely like, just like, all right, I could rock out to this. I can enjoy this immensely. I will. And the lyrics in a lot of these are like good. Like the metaphors and everything are freaking right on cue, and it's just like, all right, I get this, I get this, I can understand this and respect it a lot more than some stuff my co-host has brought. But and I mean, yeah, and they're from Seattle, and they didn't go into the whole grunge thing. They didn't want to be like, we want to be Nirvana. No, they
Yeah,
went
they
and
were a
did their
little
own
late
thing,
for
which is
that.
greater. It doesn't matter how late you are. There's still bands that try to do that, but
Yeah.
I mean, they
the
didn't try to
lyrics
do it.
are
It's great.
probably what attracts me to this band the most. I mean, most of the songs are written by the lead singer Sean Nelson, and there's like recurring themes across the albums where it's like, oh, he's using that trick again, or like, oh, he's pulling from this theme that is clearly very important to him. And there's a couple times where, like, if you listen to some of the B-side stuff, there'll be a line that maybe that song never got recorded on an album, but he took that line and put it somewhere else because he liked it, and is like, oh yeah, it's nice to see kind of like the process of it all when you get that deep into listening to stuff over time.
Like
That I don't think
evolution of art.
yeah, like I don't think I've done that with any other band, or maybe it's just that I found a bunch of these B-sides on Napster and had access to them in a way that maybe wasn't intended. I mean, I think it was because they did their last album they put out was just like a collection of all the unreleased stuff that they were selling. Originally it's streaming now, but it wasn't for a long time because they're like, no, we're just going to sell it as physical CDs at the shows on the farewell tour. So if you want it, come see the show. And
Right.
they ran out when I went to see them. So I had I paid a friend to go to the show in Chicago, get me a CD. And then they also had, they put out like a poetry book of all the lyrics. Oh no, I bought the CD at the show, but they didn't have the book. They ran out of that. So I sent him to get me the book and mail me a copy. And yeah, like I can't think of any other band that even comes close to like that level of me giving a shit. Like there's bands that I enjoy, but I don't know.
Interesting.
I'm curious to hear what your top 5 songs were off this, Glenn. What were your top 5 songs off your own album?
Sure, I put a lot of time into thinking about the top 5s for the 2 that you guys put in, but then didn't think about mine until like right before we sat down to record. Flagpole Sit is not top 5 for me. It might actually be
Understandably.
last on the album because it's just like I've heard it so much. I kind of get
Mhm.
like the point the band made of just like we don't care about this
It's
song
played
that much. People
it's played out
misunderstand
to
it.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, like Sean Nelson has talked about. He's like, people would come up and tell me they got their tongues pierced because of this song, and he's like, guys, it's ironic. Like you're not you're not supposed to. It's like the people who watch Fight Club and then go start a fight club. It's like I don't think you get the point. But also like
No.
it's hard to get irony across in a song. You know, Flagpole Sitta is I've got it right in front of me, 3:38. So like it's not
I
a
mean,
lot of time to really get into subtext. Sorry.
the agony and the irony are killing.
Yeah, and it's like the whole thing. Also, I've heard them talk about we're like, oh, everyone thinks the lead singer's name is Harvey. I'm like, well, you did call that. You did call yourselves that. Like Darius Rucker used to get insane when people would call him Hootie. He would get so
Yep.
mad. It's like, well, Bud, you called the band Hootie and the Blowfish. What do you think was going to happen? You get no
Right.
sympathy from me, Hootie. Relax. But to answer your question of top 5, I will go bottom up, right?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to start number 5 with Terminal Annex. It's the I'm so terrified to sing publicly, but the recurring line of like a zero drowning in a sea of bigger numbers, larger numbers, is I think probably the closest in terms of just like a song you can kind of like throw in a movie trailer, you know, without thinking too much about. But I like it a lot. I mean, I like the whole album, like front to back. It's not like I skip Flagpole Sitta when it comes on. I get as excited as anybody. It's just I've listened to it a billion times.
Right.
Old Hat, I really like.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one. So they have, I forget the woman who did the vocals on the recording, But like when I saw them live, they brought up a fan because the woman who was supposed to come and do it with them couldn't get to the show. So before the song, they're like, "We need someone who can do the girl part from Old Hat. Does anybody want to come up?" And
That's
this
funny.
girl's just like, "I got you," and she came up and did it and like nailed it. And I know like sometimes bands like do plants of stuff like that, but this was like a small enough show that's like it seems unlikely that they would have put on the artifice. But it is just like musically interesting because like there is kind of a call and response between Sean Nelson and the woman doing that part, but it's like kind of out of time. It's like he is talking over her in a way that is really interesting. Where it's and it comes they do a similar thing. I'm blanking on the name because I've only been listening to this album in prep. On one of the other albums where it's just like he's not listening. Like he will say something, the woman says something back. It is clear he is not listening. That just like comes across as like kind of a joke to me that I really like.
Are you talking about on one of our albums?
No, a later Harvey album.
Oh, okay. I was like, I might know which one he's talking about.
I mean, there is a lot of people not listening to women on the 2 albums that you guys sent. Next, I would say is probably Wrecking Ball, which is like again like if I'm in a car, I remember specifically I was driving somewhere in college with a friend and I had this album on and Wrecking Ball was on and she's just like, "What is this song? And can we please listen to something else?" And it's like and it's one of those things where it's like, I love this song, but like I do see your point. It is kind of a downer. But I love it. And number 2 spot goes to Problems and Bigger Ones. I went to school for film, and I used this over the credits of one of my first shorts. And it's like it's the antithesis of Flagpole Sitta. Like this is not a horror movie trailer song. This is I'm kind of sad and I'm 19 and have feelings, so let me put this song in a movie song. You know,
right?
My favorite off the album is probably Woolly Muffler, or not. Sorry, not Woolly Muffler. I looked over at my list. It is Private Helicopter. This was one of the other ones they did a music video for, but didn't like take off. To use a helicopter pun, but
I can see why.
It is just like the kind of thematically the song is like the idea of moving on from one time of your life into another one, and then you are then faced with the earlier time in your life. Like it is about, you know, your former best friend, your favorite ex-girlfriend, and it's like, oh well, now like we're hanging out again, and what is that like now that we're all a couple years older? Was really
awkward shit, I'm
interesting to me.
guessing.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, this came out in 1997. I was in 7th going into 8th grade. And then
all of our albums came out in 97.
Was that the common theme?
So
that's
like
the common theme,
yeah,
Chancy.
so-
Fucking throwing out the fucking punchline for the joke.
essentially what happens is Jeremy will get the recommended, you know, like he got your recommendation or whatever, and then he chose one and he's like, hey, see if you can find something from 1997.
What's
you want to know
from 1997 that is
dude,
so
you want to know dude, you want to know what, dude? Here's what's really fucked up, okay? Out of all the albums I could have chose, I fucking brought most of them. Like the Prodigy, like the Prodigy's "Fat of the Land" with fucking, you know, "Breathe" and fucking "Firestarter" and fucking all that shit, and like fucking what else was there? There was so fucking many. Savage Gardens, fucking Savage Garden.
Not you.
What's that?
I brought that, not you.
I thought I brought that one.
I brought that when Jess was on one of our first episodes.
I know.
That would probably fit in. Like if you were putting a playlist together, I think you're more likely to include Savage Garden with Harvey Danger songs than I don't want to give it away, but either of the albums that you guys brought. Like if I was making a 1997 me in middle school playlist, I could see Savage Garden making the cut.
Let's see, what else is there? I can't remember the whole list off the top of my head, but literally all of them was.
There was a bunch of them. There was a bunch
dude,
of them.
So many of them, and it was so upsetting, mostly because of the fact that I couldn't fucking bring them back, and fucking Quite upsetting. Quite upsetting indeed.
Well, Chancy, I am very happy with what you ended up picking, but we'll get to that in a bit. And I'm happy you couldn't find any. I'm happy you couldn't bring any other ones back because I probably prefer this one a little more. But Chancy, what were your top 5 off of Harvey Danger? And what's going on, Jeff? Glad to see you watching.
Hi, what's up, Jeff? Pardon me.
I just saw that right as it was disappearing. Welcome
Yeah.
from Ohio, a place I was supposed to go to last weekend, but couldn't because I was sick.
I had 2 honorable mentions, and ironically, they were more of his favorite. That was kind of weird.
Mm-hmm.
7 was Old Hat. I like a good call and response kind of thing. Number 6 was Private Helicopter. Number 5 was Wrecking Ball. Number 4 was Woolly Muffler. Or no, wait. Number 4 was Radio Silence. I'm sorry. Number 3 was Woolly Muffler.
I do love Radio Silence, but having to skip the last minute and a half because there's a weird pause.
That's why I loved it.
For me.
That's why I put it on there. Number 2 was Terminal Annex, and then of course, obviously, number 1's Flagpole Sitta. But like I said, it resonated with me like it did because of the when, where, and how it came into my life. Like now, I could just got it down off a Napster, had it on a burnt CD, had a Discman, just got done going like overseas on a trip to Europe for school and stuff. So like that whole line about been around the world and found that only stupid people would breed, like so much of the lyrics literally just like stood out to me.
Yeah,
I love that. I love that line.
It's a good one. Also, I didn't know we were doing honorable mentions. I would have thrown one to Carlotta Valdez just because it is a 90s rock song about the Alfred Hitchcock movie Vertigo.
Oh yeah, dude, for sure. I said honorable mentions.
Yeah.
Right,
no, you said it's all good. I didn't think to do them for mine.
Well, that's all good.
It's all good, man.
Well, see, for Harvey Danger, I had 2 honorable mentions as well because I had to. And the first honorable mention is Radio Silence because I love at the end of the first part of the song, like before the minute and a half break, where they start getting like really heavy at the end of that. Like I freaking love that. Like that was awesome. And then it was weird with like the minute and a half, and I'm like skipping forward through the silence. Like, wait, I know there's gonna be something. I know there's gonna be something. I'm trying to hear what it is.
Backwards. It's like an interesting holdover from that period of music recording. There's an alternate version of the song on that album I was talking about that they put out on the farewell tour, Dead Sea Scrolls. That is also very good.
Yeah, I'll check it out. And then my number 6 was Problems and Bigger Ones, because I did dig that. The top 5, though, nothing else could took their place, really. Because number 5 was Carlotta Valdez, because the fact they opened the album with that song just kind of like, I was like, all right, right off the bat, I'm like, I could dig this. I could dig this. It's nice and heavy, and I wouldn't have got the Vertigo reference because I don't think I've ever seen Vertigo, but
that is the one that like I would say kind of holds its own against Flagpole Sitta as a like rock song, but it is like kind of esoteric because it's about a movie from the 60s that I just knew it as a song for a long time, and then and I had seen Vertigo. Like I said, I went to school for film. I'm a big movie nerd, and it just never clicked for some reason. And it's like, oh. And then, like next time I listen to it, it's like, yeah, it's like at the end of The Sixth Sense where you find out Bruce Willis is dead, and then they show you the montage of like, all the times you should have realized that he was dead, and you're like, oh yeah, all right, I see what you did, movie. And then you never need to see that movie again.
See, I didn't watch The Sixth Sense until like a couple years ago, so like I knew the
you just knew the reference,
I knew the reference my whole life, and just like I watched the movie, and I'm like, how do people not realize he's dead the whole time? Like. I'm like, maybe it's that first time experience, like when you don't know what's going to happen. But I'm sure people in theaters are like, oh my god. But number 4, and actually, if you look on Spotify, their top 5 songs are Carlotta Valdez is the only song off this album besides Flagpole Sitta that's in the top 5. So,
what are the other?
I have no idea. They were from some other albums, but I was just trying to see what in this album was in the top 5 songs. I like to do that with artists I never heard of before. Like I like to see what the album they're bringing me. Like, all right, how many of these are in the top 5 on Spotify?
I would
But
guess Authenticity is one of them. It's from
oh,
their second
well,
album. It was in Saving Silverman. That was
oh, I
uh,
I love that. Oh, damn, I love that movie.
it is. There's like a I don't remember the movie that well. They're like running from in a car, or a car is chasing somebody, and it's
Oh,
playing.
it's after they try to go to her house and kidnap her and shit, and
I
like
think so.
they're getting chased by
Like a
by
chase
her and the
scene,
cops.
yeah.
I think I remember that. Yeah, I have to watch that movie. It's been a bad long time for that. But so yeah, it's Cream and Bastard's Rise is their
Yeah.
second place song. Little Round Mirrors is their fourth place song,
That's a really good
and
one.
Sad Sweetheart of the Rodeo is the fifth place song.
That was another one they did a music video for with Ione Sky from Say Anything. She has the titular Sad Sweetheart of the Rodeo in that video.
Well, my number 4 song was Woolly Muffler, because that song has some banging ass guitar on it.
It's a good one.
And number 3 was Old Hat, because of course that was a damn good song. Number 2, no one mentioned this one, and I'm amazed. Number 2 was Jack the Lion.
It kind of bums me out. is the reason.
Good music's supposed to bum you out sometimes. That's the way it is. I mean,
yeah. I mean, it's a good song. It's just that's why it didn't make the list.
Yeah.
Is it makes me a little sad.
Yeah, no, I liked it. It was heavy. Once I got to the end of the CD, I was kind of getting disappointed. Like the Terminal one, and like the one after that, and then Radio Silence. Like I was kind of like, until I got to that heavy part of Radio Silence, I was kind of getting disappointed.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is how they finish the CD. I'm like, it's like going down in flames. But and then of course number 1 had to be Flagpole Sitta, because it's the song I knew, and it's the song that I've loved for 20 years. So I mean, it's been around there. So I had to put it on there as number 1, of course, and I'm actually happy I now know who Harvey Danger is, because I never heard that name before until you brought it on. I mean, once I put on Flagpole Sitta, I knew exactly who they were, but I just didn't.
That's the thing.
Never knew.
When people ask like, "Who's your favorite band?" and I say Harvey Danger, they're like, "I don't know who that is." I'm like, "Oh, they did Flagpole Sitta," and they're like, "I don't know what that is." I'm like, "You would if you heard it, but I'm pathologically afraid to sing in front of people, so you have to take my word for it." Or like I'll pull my phone out and like play it, and they're like, "Oh yeah, that one," because like it's a song everybody heard. It's just you don't necessarily hear it in a context of also hearing the title.
When I was younger and was in choir, I used to be able to do both the parts, like the harmony and the other at the same time. I always thought that was pretty cool, you know, especially the chorus, because the chorus was so fucking badass.
It's really good. Like I said, I didn't put it in the top 5, but it's mostly for the reason of like I don't know.
I
like better.
Absolutely.
Well, Chance of Pants, it's a time for you to announce the CD you decided to bring today.
So I'm gonna give you this option right now to either take yours now or deal with what's gonna happen here, because I got 12 fucking songs, dude.
I got 11, so let's go.
Okay, so I guess I'll go then. That's fine with me. My choice for this 1997 edition, since I couldn't bring in any of the other shit that I brought that I loved that I have, brought previously, was one of my favorite bands, Gwa, which the album is Carnival of Chaos, which is kind of ironic considering the other choice as well. The only wish that I had is if it would have been the first card rather than this card.
You brought that. I couldn't do that.
I fucking know I did, and it wouldn't have matched for the year. However,
it wouldn't have mattered at that point, because it didn't matter before I made my decision.
Nah, I've been such a huge fan of Guar since long before I ever even first saw him or anything. I mean, just like I had seen some of their stuff online, Beavis and Butthead and stuff like that, and then I saw he did segments on a Fox News show called Red Eye. And his fucking dude, literally his segments were the best fucking television that I've ever seen in my entire life. Just like hands down. They've tried to capture that lightning in a bottle fucking sense, and it's impossible, dude. Literally, you can't do better than a literal alien that wants to kill the entire human race to get into a fucking political discussion in any capacity. That's fucking brilliant.
That rules.
Right? But if I'm not mistaken, I believe this is their second or third album, I think, or fourth, 1 through 4. I don't remember. I want to say it's like second or third. But
I feel like it's later than that, but
it could be later, but it's super early. I know that because they were still kind of finding they're getting their legs underneath of them on their gimmick. Because I mean, I don't know I'm not sure exactly how aware of Gwar you are. I know you said you were somewhat aware of the band, but I'm not sure
Mostly
if you're like
from stuff like you said, like they would be interviewed on a thing, or there would be a news story about how you shouldn't let your children listen to this terrible alien band.
All right, like when they're on Springer.
Yeah, it's like, well, now I want to. Like, now,
right.
Or they're in Empire Records. Like that's probably my main point of reference for them as a band was they talk to the kid in Empire Records through the television, and they invite him to be a part of Gwar, and then they eat him, I think.
Yeah. Have You Seen Me, I think, is the name of that fucking song.
Chancy, number 6, album number 6.
It's album 6. Fuck.
They've been putting out albums since the year I was born.
Yeah, I knew they put out a fuck ton of albums, but I didn't think it was that far into it before they really got. It doesn't matter. Anyway, long story short. So like the gimmick is that they're supposed to be aliens, and they were kicked out of their universe. I believe it's called the Scumdog universe, because they were, basically like pulling the Thanos. So they get banished here, and they crash landed in Antarctica, and then they froze for, I don't know, millennia, if you will. And in the 80s, during the hair metal, all of the shit from the fucking, that shit that killed the ozone layer.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of the exact. Yep, CFCs.
Yeah.
All the CFCs opened up the hole in the ozone layer over what's up, Casey? But it opened up that, ozone layer in the fucking over Antarctica, and it thawed them out. And their manager, who's named Sleazy P. Martini, found them and basically did like a deal with the devil for them. So he would like help them become famous so they could take over the world and kill all humanity, and they would just keep him in a certain group as like pets and slaves and stuff. So like literally that's like the entire premise of their whole shtick, everything. And there's like, this is completely unrelated and it's not even on this album, but there's one of their songs, it's like one of my favorites, it's called Bring Back the Bomb, and it's literally talking about nuclear weapons. Like the first verse is literally Hiroshima, a shadow burned in time, Nagasaki, little baby melts alive, bloodfish and rubble from sea to dead shore, such a hideous theater of war. And he's basically like pitching for us to bring back the nuke. Right. There's a section in the song, and it says, "And while we're at it, let's go nuke Tibet. Let's vaporize the oceans with glee. Saving the whales is an agenda for some, but nuking them sits well with me." And then it's just basically
stop worrying and love the bomb.
It basically, he just wants to like. It's I need the bombs because I can't kill you all with my hands.
It's just more efficient.
That's actually a line. It's like, it's like thermonuclear, neutron bomb too. It talks about, I can't kill you all with my hands. Hydrogen bomb, new signs of doom. It's fucking great.
It's just impractical.
Every time they would go to start a show, they would have a timer, and it would be a clock. Yes. I'm sorry, Casey. I didn't want to ignore you. Sleazy P. Martini was the name of their manager. Great fucking name.
Yeah.
Great fucking character. And another thing is that like all the people involved are all friends of theirs from their college, and I somewhere in the Southeast kind of thing. And they basically every cent they ever made, they put right back into it, outside of obviously living expenses for the year and whatnot. But like, it's it's literally just like a timer that says time until death, and it counts down. And then they would have prosthetics that would rip off and shoot out like fake blood on people and alien blood, and every now and then he would put on a giant cod piece and ejaculate on the crowd, this fake ejaculate.
That's the stuff I remember hearing about.
On Chancy.
Like a lot of spray going on.
No, nice. Yeah, okay. I'll go with Sleazy P Martini. That's cool. Just call me Sleazy P for short.
And Odorous even jizzed on Chancy during one fateful show.
So since we're gonna, I was not excited. So since we're doing it, I will tell the story.
Yeah, you have to.
I kind of gotta. So I'm at this show, right? I'm like 6'2", fucking 6'3" if I don't slouch. I'm at this show. I'm third row. The dude in front of me is probably like fucking 5'5", 5'7" tops. His fucking girlfriend's.
I get it.
his fucking girlfriend is like 5'5", and she's up against the rail. And in between songs, he goes off stage, put the cod piece on because it's got this giant hose that comes out the back of it. And he comes back on stage with the giant cod piece. And at this point, I start kind of doing this number because I can see over everybody. And I'm noticing very rapidly that this dude's girlfriend's the only girl in the entire front row. And basically he's like, so who wants me to come on their face or some kind of dumbass shit. And fucking he just unleashes hell upon her. And it's bouncing up off of her onto him, bouncing up off of him onto me. He is fucking ecstatic. He's like, Odorous came on my girlfriend. And me, the whole time I'm standing there, I'm just like, it's not real. It is not real. It's not real. It's not real. It's not real. Keep your mouth shut. Don't look at it. Shut your eyes. Turn your head. It's not real. So yeah, basically, I got came on by an intergalactic warlord fucking in the middle of a
I mean,
mass
you have to
group.
know that was a possibility going in.
Not really, because like I didn't expect it for the venue that they were at, because it's kind of like
a splash zone when you buy the tickets. Like
well, no, not like that either. No, because like everywhere is a splash zone. Because what they do is they basically do that stuff to help keep people cool so they don't overheat during shows.
So considerate.
For real, but
you don't think about the practicality of that. But it's like, yeah, it gets hot.
It's fucking such a relief. Like you don't even care if you're getting hosed down in red or green blood or whatever. The fucking semen is a bit too viscous. It's like you guys worked a little too hard on getting this right. It's like you guys worked really hard on getting that right. Like that one's not so cool. But like yeah, like that's the reason why they would do it. But like usually they would only have the cod piece for like larger venues, so that way they could have him come out and whatnot. And it was a smaller stage, so I thought I was safe. It's like, oh, decapitated heads, blood guns, stuff like that. I'm good. I'm great. And then out East Royals just fucking, this thing's the fucking size of like my whole ass arm. And I'm just like, oh God, she's the only, it's just her. We all know how this is going to play out. Well, batten down the hatches, boys.
At a certain point, you just gotta embrace it,
Well, I mean, I just kind of put my hands up, turned my head, and just kind of let it happen. Yeah. Because I wasn't going anywhere. I was pinned in on all sides anyway. But yeah, so that's my awesome story with that. But I saw those guys before the lead singer died. They replaced him, and I haven't seen him since. Not so much against like a beef thing. It's just kind of like their voices don't sound the same or enough. Yeah. Like it just I'll lose a lot of, I don't know. I'd have to hear it. I'd have to check it out. Maybe someday. But like, I love the gimmick. I love the storylines. Cause like they essentially have almost a song in every type of genre. They got like a jazz song, swing song kind of thing. They got a rap song. They got a lot of punk and metal. And like I respected the shit out of that, because especially back then, like in the mid to like early mid late 90s, where everything was just fucking everywhere.
Yeah.
They were the constant chaos.
Well, along with some other groups, we'll get into them in a little bit. But Glenn, what did you think about Gwar on your
I mean, like I said,
first ever Virgin hearing?
I was aware of them. I might have heard some and not really realized it, but this was the first time I ever like sat down and put on a Gwar album. I wasn't 100% sure what to expect. Like I knew some of the lore, like maybe not the details. I know they're aliens. Like I know like the gimmick, which is honestly like my favorite part. Like I hate this in comedy. If somebody has like a gimmick like that, it drives me crazy. But in music, I'm on board immediately. Like I love the commitment to the bit of it.
Like
with both
Oakley Dokley. I fucking loved that gimmick.
Yeah, like both. I mean, both albums that you guys brought kind of do this, where it's just like, yeah, like we are locking in that we have characters, we are world building, we have lore. We're gonna teach you about it with the songs. And it was from like just that scene in Empire Records. You're like, I kind of get these guys' whole vibe, and it's not the kind of music that I seek out on my own, but like I respect the commitment to the bit so much. It's like, well, yeah, absolutely. I will gladly give you guys the benefit of the doubt and play this through. And I mean, I don't know that I'm gonna like become a huge Gwar fan or get jizzed on at a show anytime soon.
Well, no, but
I had a
because
nice time.
that guy's dead.
Well, they probably have the jizz cannon in storage somewhere. They could,
maybe.
And I mean,
said,
technically,
you nailed Florida, the formula that took effort. They don't want to throw that away.
Technically, you don't have to go to a Gwar show to be jizzed on at a concert.
That's true.
It happens.
Also, but no, I would definitely recommend kind of looking into some more of their stuff, mostly just because of the fact of the perpetuation of the gimmicks and shit like that. Because like I would like the only reason I picked this album specifically was the year it came out. Like it, because there's definitely so much better albums to present. Like if I could, I would bring back Live from Mount Fuji again, because it's like basically a greatest hits of like a lot of their excellent stuff. But at the same time, I would still recommend listening to the album versions, because of live albums kind of have an ability to kind of take away from the song itself. But like I specifically, what really sold me for them when I first saw them in concert, because I was still kind of iffy even going to the show, he like stops after the first song. He's like, he does the first song and then does one of those like tantrum stop, like, no, stop, nobody plays another song. I will not play another song until I get to eat a dead baby. Somebody bring me out a dead baby. And they bring out literally like an animatronic doll, and he fucking I mean, he tears it in half, and then he has these shoulder pads on with sword spikes on it, and he puts one on one side and one on the other, and then they go into the second song, and in that second song there's a portion of the chorus that has a tempo where he can be like, no, and it literally makes the little baby arm fucking rock out in unison. And it's fucking like, I saw that shit and I was like, I will fucking listen to this band for the rest of eternity.
The first concert I ever went to as a kid was a touring production of Sesame Street Live. And
wow,
there is more overlap, I think, between that and Gwar and Harvey Danger in terms of like production value, because there was like set changes and there's like the big costumes and it's like, yeah, like Gwar is doing something else besides just playing music, and it's like I said, I respect it so much of just like, yeah, we could be a band, we could write some songs, or we could be goddamn space aliens from another dimension here to kill everybody, and we're really gonna lean into that. And it's like, yeah, it's hard to not get behind that.
They were actually
swing.
They were asked in an interview, I think when they were on like Jerry Springer or one, or like Phil Donahue or one of those, like when they were on those TV shows, they were like, "Why do you do this?" And I think it was Joan Rivers. It might have been her show or whatever. She's like, "Why? What's with this? What's with this spaceman get up? Why do you got to do this?" And they're like, "Well, because we can't make it any other way. Like we know we can. We know there's like we know we suck. We can't do this any other way." Like they literally leaned right into it and admitted straight out the gate, like, "Bam, we suck. This is why."
Yeah, like we could write songs, yeah, but we can't write great ones. But we can write weird ones that are about space and the apocalypse, and just really get like build a fan base around people who want that. And it's like, yeah, hell yeah, Guar, you're doing great.
And like, and a whole universe too, because like, there's a song on there where it's literally like, when they play it in a show, when that song comes on, it prepares for like a duo, like a battle between two people dressed up in foam rubber shit, and they're fighting each other. Like they go that whole nine.
Yeah. There's a show in Brooklyn my friends keep inviting me to that I haven't made it to yet, but it's called Kaiju Big Battle, and it's like it is like a wrestling match, but it's guys dressed as kaijus, so it's like big monsters wrestling each other instead of people. And I've never been able to go, but it's like, yeah, that sounds great. Like that's
right.
I'm not a big wrestling fan, but sure, dress as a giant robot and then fight a lizard. Yeah, that sounds incredible.
My 9-year-old son would love that. Just saying. If I go next, if we go to New York, I definitely got to take one to see it. But I mean, oh, I'm sorry. Does that conclude your review of Gwar there, Glenn? Before I go to mine,
I would say I have a deep respect for Gwar as performers, even if like I feel like generally the music's not really my taste, but it's like it's hard to be like, you can't say Gwar sucks because they're so good at what they do. I don't know if you guys listen to the podcast The Doughboys, but they rate like fast food restaurants, but they rate it on like, well, what are they trying to do? Like Taco Bell's not trying to be a high-end experience, but they're really good at giving you like pretty okay tacos in the middle of the night. So like they always rate really highly. And it's like, yeah, like what does Gwar want to do? They want to be weird space aliens, and they're crushing it. So yeah, absolutely 10 out of 10. Gwar, you're doing great.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, Taco Bell is pretty good at giving you diarrhea on a regular basis.
Yeah, for sure.
Word.
But I mean, as far as Gwar goes, this is not my first encounter with the infamous Gwar in this show, though it was this show that introduced me to Gwar, because like you, I grew up hearing the name, but not really looking into what the hell they were. Like I don't know why. I never knew anybody that really knew them or liked them growing up, so I never got into them. But
yeah, I don't think I had any like friends who were big Gwar fans growing up.
Exactly. But thanks to Chancy here bringing on Live from Mount Fuji, which that album did make me like Gwar. It wasn't until we brought him on again that I actually learned to like him. But because the live aspect kind of ruined it. I mean, the skits are funny in between songs, but the live aspect of the songs kind of ruined like being able to hear what the hell they're saying at all.
Yeah.
And then you don't get to see what they're doing either. It should have been a DVD rather than a live album, personally.
Yeah, it does seem like that would be the most enjoyable way to experience Gwar, is if I could just watch a show but not be at one.
Well, YouTube is a wonderful thing.
But I actually, my ex-girlfriend at the time was like, I don't know what to wear to this thing, and I was like, I was like, wear a really nice, wear a nice shirt, get kind of dressed up because we're gonna go out. Fucking that, yeah. I purposely
put expensive and delicate.
I purposefully put myself into the doghouse on that one just because I wanted to see the look on her face the first time she got hosed down with blood, and it was fucking worth every second of it.
Well, and I mean, honestly, this album you brought on, Gwar, Chancy, might be my favorite album I heard there so far.
Really? Because I was actually prepared to come on and shit talk the fuck out of my album.
No, I actually I mean, yes, the whole carnival aspect is kind of ironic, and when I saw that, I laughed a little bit. But I mean, hell, you could have brought Kiss's Psycho Circus; it would have been close too. But I mean, I wouldn't have brought that either. But Carnival of Chaos is actually a damn good album. Like, there were very few songs in this I didn't like. Like, I literally have 11 songs for this album because it's amazing. Like a lot of the songs are fucking amazing. Like and I love. Oh my god, I'll get to it when I get to the songs. But like literally in one of the songs, it says if you're listening to it on Spotify and you have the lyrics up, so you can actually like read the lyrics. Because sometimes they still are hard to decipher. Sometimes, but on one part of the lyrics, it actually just says in parentheses, "odorous scats."
Yeah.
Yep.
Which is fucking awesome. Which is
I have
fucking
that in my
awesome.
notes as well.
I love that it actually says that, like, odorous scats. But like I don't know. I mean, I love a band with a good gimmick. It's kind of my thing. I love a band or a rap group with a good gimmick. So I can't say anything bad about Gore, especially this CD. This CD is fucking incredible. So I loved it. A lot of these songs are now my like songs on Spotify. So and you better believe I don't care if Otis is dead or not. Well, he's not dead. Like Tommy Lee Jones said in Men in Black he just went back home. So
Right.
yeah. Otis versus went back home. He didn't die. But if we ever get to meet in person, there's a fucking Guar concert within 100 miles. We're going. But so yeah, I love the CD. But Chancy, what were your top songs for the CD? I'm not even gonna try to say top 5.
So, number 12 was Sex Cow. Number 11, Antarctican Drinking Song. No, I'm sorry, I'm done. Number 10 is Gonna Kill You. Number 9 is The Private Pain of Techno Destructo. Like that right there, Private Pain of Techno Destructo is usually like a song that they play before Techno Destructo shows up on stage, and there's this epic battle between him and Odorous Urungus, and he fucking, takes him, defeats him and sends him back into the cell or whatever. And then let's see. Number 8 is In Her Fear, which like I don't know why. It's not something that I necessarily like for any reason, as it is just like the lyrics and the everything, kind of how it flows together. It's just kind of like, man, this is really fucked up.
Same, Chancy. We were the same on that one.
Number 7 is Billy Badass.
Yeah, that's where it stops.
Number 6 is First Rule Is. Number 5 is Don't Need a Man. Because I always loved that little run that they had with her when she was like, doing a bunch of stuff in the band, because she would always come out and like just beat the slaves up, or like, do all sorts of crazy stuff on stage and whatnot. Number 4 is Back to Iraq. Number 3 is Preschool Prostitute. Number 2 is Penguin. Fucking love Penguin, dude. That right there is like basically like it's like, here we go, fellas. We're leaning into this fucking gimmick. We're coming in from Antarctica. What's in Antarctica? Fucking penguins. We're gonna get ourselves an army of penguins. We're gonna weaponize them and mechanize them, and these motherfucking penguins is coming to attack. And then
what the hell's the course in that? Like armored penguins, like nothing is real, or I forgot the fucking. I had it in my head this morning because I was fucking singing it, but
I don't remember.
God damn it, James.
Number 1 for me on this one is Hate Love Songs, and that's mostly because Odorous isn't the one that's actually performing the singing in that. It's actually the bass player who went and got like a fucking. I think he got a doctorate. Like he went and got a doctorate in fucking, I think it was in music and some other type of study or something or other. But he did his own like whole TED talk. And at the beginning of the TED talk, they did a little bit of Guar stuff in it. Like it was kind of funny. Somebody comes out with this like tablet, a little slave guy comes out with a tablet, and the dude comes out with a hammer and he just like smashes the tablet. It's crazy nonsense. But basically, the guy comes out without any makeup and stuff on, so he's the normal dude, but like they still had to throw that little bit of Guar in to fucking just to do it,
Kind
to
of
fuck with people.
Yeah,
it just fucks with people.
Well, Chancy, okay, here the line is, they were born of atomic steel, life and death to them seemed so unreal. Like I fucking love that.
Yeah.
Loved it. Well, What were your top 5 songs there, Glenn, for Gwar?
Was Penguin your number 2, Chancy?
Yeah. Yep.
What was your number 1?
Hate love songs.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah, I Hate Love Song, I guess who I would put as an honorable mention just because like kind of as a thought experiment, I liked it more than the actual song of just like, yeah, there's a ton of love songs. What if we do one of these about hate? And it's just like, yeah, like it seems like a fun writing exercise to me. I thought that was really interesting. My other
Nice.
honorable mention, I will give to Scallop Boat because
Oh,
it just
yeah,
seemed like
yeah.
a really metal version of the Beach Boys song Sloop John B. And it's
Right.
like it was more of a ballad than I was expecting from a Gwar record, so like it kind of caught me off guard. Um, for the rest of them, I am going to go with kind of what I thought was funny about them, which I understand isn't like the point of Gwar. Like they're not a comedy
Yeah,
band, but like
kind of.
it's part of it. Like it's I think they would admit like, well, yeah, like it's fun. That's why we do this. But number 5, I'm gonna give to Sammy because halfway through listening to it, I was like, "Is this about the Sammy Davis Jr. pilot Little Devil, where he tried to do a sitcom where he played a devil?" And it is. And I'm like,
Yeah.
just like how I like Carlotta Valdez for being a rock song about the movie Vertigo. It's like
Vertigo.
I would you could have given me a million guesses of things Gwar would write a song about, but the failed pilot Little Devil never would have come up. And it's like, yeah, hell yeah, Sammy. It's great. Number 4, Billy Badass. It is great
Love
because
it.
I was also following along with the lyrics, and I listen on Apple Music, so I don't know if it's like a different set. But at one point, it just says gibberish in brackets a couple of times, and it is. I've been listening to a lot of
Yeah.
like early jazz and bebop stuff lately, so I've been listening to like a lot of people scatting, and it's like, yeah, he's doing the thing where it's like that is not an easy skill to pick up. People are like, oh, you just like say nonsense. It doesn't, but like for it to be entertaining, it does take some effort, and he does a legit good job. And then like the actual lyrics kind of reminded me of Wilco weirdly, because God, I'm blanking on his name. The guy from Wilco. The way he writes songs, he will just like list words and then another list of words and try to like connect ones he just thinks sound good together. And it's like there's not the lyrics aren't like narrative necessarily. Um, I'm trying to break your heart is probably the most notable example by them. But yeah, it's just like I again like weirdly, it's more poetic than I would have guessed was going to be coming from intergalactic space aliens. Number 3, I'm going to give to Let's Blame the Light Man
Let's.
because it
Yes.
reminded me of that song from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia where the night man and the day man have a fight.
Dayman. Oh, I fucking love Dayman.
It's like if they did a much harder version of that, that's what this would have been. I also really liked Endless Apocalypse, so that's my number 2 because it has the line "Wishing for poop, happy with pee," and I'm 7 years old, so I giggled so hard when listening to that.
Yeah.
And number 1 is Penguin Attack. Like it's everything you said about it is correct. It is. I mean, I'm a big Batman fan, so just like I have a long history with weaponized penguins, and it's like, yeah, hell yeah. It also my favorite line is "Come on, baby, kick him in the ding ding,"
Right.
because it's like it is hard and silly at the same time, and it is a thing that will stick with me for like of everything that came out of the experience of listening to this albums for you two. The line "Come on, baby, kick him in the ding ding" being stuck in my head for the next 20 years is top of the list.
Mm. Well, there are plenty of lines from this album that are going to be stuck in my head for a long time too if I don't smoke them out. But which usually happen. But I did have a top 11 for this because it's fucking Gwar. And I literally was listening to this on the way to work this morning and then at work. And the whole way to work, I'm just like fucking singing along in my car, driving down the fucking highway. I probably look like a maniac. But especially when I have my window down smoking cigarettes at certain points and like and they're slow traffic and everybody's just like, what the fuck is he listening to? But unlike some bands I've had in this show, Panic at the Disco, I actually don't mind having my windows fully down, blasting Gwar. But
I would much rather listen to Gwar than Panic at the Disco.
thank you.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.
And that's from a virgin ears too, Chancy, for fuck's sake. But my number 11 was Endless Apocalypse because it was not lyric heavy. It was very instrumental, which I loved. It was amazing.
Happy with me.
I missed that line, I think, somehow. But yeah, Endless Apocalypse was the guitar in that song I had to put on the list. Even if it didn't really have. Number 10 was Letter from the Scout Boat because I just kept the story in it was freaking amazing, and I kept hearing like I didn't like the tempo as much, but I kept like picturing Forrest Gump for some reason. I don't know why. I think it's because of the scalp shrimps like boat type thing.
But they both live in the water.
Yeah.
Number 9 was Sammy. I didn't get that Sammy Davis Jr. like reference. I mean, I kind of did, but I didn't know about this TV show. Like I thought they were talking about Sammy Davis Jr.
I think it's on YouTube. You should watch it. It's ridiculous.
I think I've heard it referenced somewhere before too. I just can't think of where the hell it was. But number 8 was In Her Fear, just because I like the female singing on that song too. But number 7 was Hate Love Song, so that song is fucking brilliant. Like I actually like love songs that most artists I like do, but especially when we're gonna talk about it in a little bit. But Hate Love Songs is just freaking like brilliant. Like it reminds me of another song by an amazing artist called Rainbows and Stuff. It kind of reminds me of that because it goes like from like sweet to angry. But number 6 was The Private Pain of Techno Destructo because I had a feeling there was a skit behind that one. I had a feeling that there'd be a skit like in a live show behind that one, and it's just amazing. Like the songs I could headbang to at Guar are the ones I really love. Like I like the melodic ones more than more than like the thrashing ones, as Chancy knows. But their lyrics, I like the lyrics mean a lot to me with bands. But number 5 was Penguin because literally, as soon as it started playing, I'm like, it's called Penguin, and then I hear the lyrics that I just read a few minutes ago when Chancy was talking about it, and I'm like, I fucking love this fucking song.
Yeah,
like I just do. Number 4 was Billy Badass because, I mean, one, I couldn't stop thinking about Badass Billy Gunn the whole time I was listening to it. But you know that was going to happen, Chancy.
I know.
But I mean, the lyrics in it were also hilarious, and it reminds me of a bunch of other songs I know in the rap genre. But actually, kind of reminded me of Willie Bubba a little bit. But number 3 is First Rule Is because that song is freaking amazing. What the hell was the First Rule? I can't remember what it is now. It's because it's been so long today. But
what do you mean? The first rule in what?
The actual in the song lyrics, it's like first rule is, and they keep saying the same thing over and over again. But you can think of it.
I don't remember.
Oh yeah, first rule is there's no first rule.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I'm pretty sure the first rule is that there's no first rule. Yeah.
That's how long my day's been, dude. But I love that the whole outside bombs explode. I am sitting on the commode. Soon they'll reach the
commode.
Yeah, I meant to say that.
Commode.
Soon they'll reach the daycare center. Soon they'll bag the smashed placenta. Like that shit is so. I mean, I love dark shit, like as Chancy knows, but that shit is so dark. It's just like
thanks for the cookies, Mom.
Yeah. Thanks for the cookies Mom baked. Like, oh my god, that song is the second craziest song on this fucking album by far. Number 2 was Don't Need a Man because it's just, even for someone like me who knows Guar to some degree, not a song I expect to hear in this album. Not a song I expect to hear in this album at all. And it's like a country like duet song. Like I'm thinking like Dolly Parton.
It's not. Okay, yeah, you can call it that genre if you want, but it's not. It's like a fucking. That's like a fucking old bluesy, jazzy, fucking jazz singer. Like,
well, Chancy, I kind of what it did to me was I kind of was picturing like Tammy Wynette, "Stand by Your Man" while I was listening to it.
What the fuck?
The opposite version of that song, kind of. But
I was thinking more along the lines of like fucking. I know that I can't even bear to say it because I know that I would be disowned by Harvey and everyone else. But like the one of the more famous jazz and blues singer, Ella Fitzgerald, I believe is her name. Fucking, it kind of reminded. It kind of reminded me of like that, but like the negative version of that, like the antithesis of that. Not so much the antithesis, but like just like that vein of style for singing, but definitely not the subject matter. I guess, for lack of a better term.
Well, and my number one song is the most fucked up song on this album. And it probably might be in the top 10 fucked up songs I've ever heard in my life. And it is Preschool Prostitute. Because oh my god, I was half dying laughing and half like just sitting there like like it was like I did those in the reverse of how I should have done them because it was first the gas, then the dying and laughing afterwards because I like fucked up lyrics in songs, but she told the sad story, dude. She told the sad story about a family in woe. She was getting fingered by her daddy's big toe. Like Jesus fucking Christ! Like,
Right.
I heard that line. I'm like, I looked at the lyrics. I'm like, did I just hear that right? I did. Okay, just making sure. Just checking. Okay. It's like I thought Esham's living in incest was bad, but Jesus Christ! Like
See that's what I'm saying. It's not always about, like just shock value. It's also about presentation. Fucking
Yeah, I mean that's
Jesus
true.
Christ.
Like in comedy, there's a lot of that too, of like people going up and be like, "Oh yeah, you just say horrible things, and that's comedy." It's like, well, no, like, I mean, you mentioned Bill Burr, like,
right.
he is one of the best at going up and saying a thing the audience will disagree with on purpose, so that he can just see if he can win them back. He does a bit about like, he's like, I don't like dogs, and everyone's like, well, then you're a monster, and he's like, let me lay it out, and like he talks about why he doesn't like
Right.
dogs for a couple minutes, and everyone's like, man, I hate it, but I kind of see your point, and it's like,
Or like the entire Philly rant bit. Like
yeah,
that's fucking iconic.
yeah, that's what really I think put him on the map is like,
Yeah, that Philly rant.
he was around well before that, but then that's the thing that everyone's like, yo, did you hear this guy? He like yelled at Philadelphia because they deserve it.
For 15 entire minutes, and he didn't give him a single second.
Yeah.
But no, for me, my favorite Bill Burr bit is what he would do if he was the world leader, like the world dictator or whatever, with the cruise ships and the submarines and all that other hootakai, where he's talking about getting it on with with the chicks with the hangers on and whatnot, and fucking all of his fake medals that he didn't earn, jiggling, trying to see how long he could keep the hat on. But then he's all talking about how, like, his population control method would be to make cruise liners cheap and then have all the, job manufacturing stuff be all like, shipbuilders and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But over the, throughout the cruising season, if you will, he would ride out in a submarine and, he would be a gentleman about it. Like if he was noticed by the oncoming cruise ship, he would give them a nod and send them off. But if they didn't pay attention or whatever, it would be "Und fire the missile" or fire the torpedo, and fucking he does it so well because it starts off, it does just the shoo, and the torpedo in the water, and then he like loops in with his voice, fucking the torpedo going through the water, and then fucking and he starts tapping the fucking mic to get the fucking bass. So it's like and then like right at the very end, he's like, "Hey, bro, do you think my shirt looks too small for my?" And then fucking he does a strafing run and he's fucking killing everybody and whatnot. And it's just terrible. It's just like, yeah, very Guar-like, yes. But the best part about it is that he sets it up for a callback at the very end of the fucking show, where he's talking about this dude driving along with his wife, because like everybody thinks, oh, you're a monster, but you're not going to think I'm so much of a monster when you're able to get to where you need to go at 5 o'clock on the fucking 405. I'm doing pretty good. Like, business is booming and everybody needs new jobs down at the shipyard, and who knows, man, we could get up here in the world, maybe take you out on a cruise. Fucking
well, that means, folks, an hour and 25 minutes into this shit.
Hey
It
man,
is-
this is the best
I'm not
comedian. He's a comedian, man. This is great.
It's true.
I'm not complaining. We've been having fun. I'm not complaining. Trust me. But
I don't know. Kind of sounds like you're bitching to me.
It's a little whiny, if I'm being honest.
Chancy, when you brought Funhouse, that was me bitching.
That was you fucking throwing a full on tantrum when I brought on Sunhouse, like a blues legend. God forbid, get some fucking culture.
Well deserved. But the album I decided to bring because let's see, I received Glen's album and looked at this band and I'm like, okay, I really don't know who to bring against this. I'm like,
what's the opposite of the album, Glen?
No, see, there's a method to my madness though, because I'm like, I can't bring Offspring because I just brought them in the last episode. And I'm not gonna bring them again. I'm like, that's the only thing that's really coming to my head right now. Besides, like, some other bands
Ixnay the Hombre was what I was thinking of for another one that I could have brought.
You could.
Sorry, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. That's my bad. I'm a dick.
I would have rather had more than that though, so that's okay. But
word.
But I mean, I'm just like everything else I could think of to bring at this point is like bands like where I know like Bare Naked Ladies, where I know like one song on the album that I love, and the rest of the songs I have no fucking clue. So like I'm not gonna do that.
Was that
like,
97?
I don't know. I wasn't going by year at this point. I was actually trying to find something that was similar. But then I'm like, all right, my fallback when I can't find something similar in my library is I look at the year the CD came out and I go by that to give me ideas. And then of course, as I'm looking at 97, I get down and it's like I see a certain CD sitting there, and I'm just like, I'm like, I know Chancy loves this album, and it's definitely my favorite album by this group. So, yep, I have to do it. I have to finally, after a year and a half or so of doing this show, I finally have to unleash for the first time. Well, okay, not the first time, but for the first time in a year and a half, basically, actually, I had to bring Insane Clown Posse's ICP's greatest album they've ever done. The Great, see it's right there, the name, Milenko. And they're literally, I mean, there's very few albums ICP has done besides their new stuff that I would say is bad, but I love most of their albums, at least 3/4 of the CD of most of their albums. And I mean, Great Milenko is just one of those amazing CDs. So the first time I heard the CD in whole, I was just in a state of bewilderment and a state of fucking bliss. Like this whole album is fucking incredible. It has most of their most popular songs on it because this is the album that got everybody into Insane Clown Posse back in the 90s. Because this is when the whole Disney fiasco happened, where they originally were supposed to do this record on Disney's label. And Island Records. They're supposed to do an Island Records, which is Disney's label.
Whoops.
And Bob, what's his name? Bob Igor, whatever the fuck his name is.
Iger.
Bob Iger.
Bob Iger.
Bob Iger.
I don't know, but he might as well be called Igor. He's so fucking annoying. But Bob Iger got so many complaints from religious groups about this album when they released it that they literally pulled it from the shelves completely, and it forced ICP to go start their own record label to release it. So that event changed history forever, and it made ICP same as war. They became a newsworthy topic of you should not let your kids listen to this. And guess what kids want to listen to if they be told they can't listen to it? People dressed as clowns talking about murder.
I mean, shit's got to be shit's got to be bad when a music company like a record label is willing to give you your fucking masters.
Yeah.
Like usually you either have to pay the fuck ton for them or just pay for them in general. But these guys were like, nah, we hate you so much. We want so little to do with you. Here are your masters. Go do something else with it.
We don't want to be found with these.
Please yeah. Right.
Possible.
Biggest mistake that fucking Island Records ever made. I'm pretty sure they're no longer even a.
I mean, Disney's made some other mistakes, but
Well,
yeah, I was
obviously,
saying, I mean, you know.
I mean, obviously, the head of their leader is frozen underneath Disney World, waiting for certain mistakes to go away. But
Guar's gonna resurrect him.
exactly.
They're working on it. That's what
I mean,
Odorous is doing right now. He faked his death to go work on the reanimation serum for cryogenically frozen people.
Odorous is the reanimator. It was based on him. But yes, I mean, ICPs. This is when they got huge. This is when they got big. MTV started playing them at 3:00 in the morning at this point, and this is when they blew up. And the Great Milenko started all that. The albums before it are amazing as well, and the albums after it are amazing as well. And this was kind of like when, if you listen to the lyrics in this album, you could tell, you could start, like, if you know enough now, you could start listening to this album being like, okay, I can see where the Christian rap stuff comes in this album a little bit. I can kind of see it. Like, if you listen to it, you kind of hear they're a Christian rap group and that the
There's some
Carnival
allusions to it. Yeah.
Because I mean, they didn't do the big reveal for 3 more albums where they basically say the Carnival is God. Sorry, we tricked you.
Yeah.
But,
no, we're not sorry that we tricked you.
Oh yeah. Oh no, they say it both ways. They say it both ways. They say it's sorry. They say sorry, but not sorry, basically. But
because I remember when they went down the whole "we're not sorry that we tricked you," I threw it the fuck out the window. I was like, nope, fucking that's some bullshit.
Well, then you missed the Devil CD, and we've been through this. You missed the Devil CD after that, which was the most amazing CD ever.
I thought this was the most amazing CD they did ever. Pick your fucking poison and drink it.
Commit.
Dude.
Hey, you know what? I'll say this much. I will say this much because I want to say something nice. You know, rather than saying something mean, at least it's not fucking Cottonmouth Kings. All right, there's that. I said it. Okay.
No, but it is the band. It is the rap group that inspired them. So,
fucking, and look at what that's like. Seriously though, like seriously, that's like saying, you know, like Waco inspired Timothy McVeigh for the fucking Oklahoma City bombing. Fucking.
It did.
None of this is good. I know exactly. So like ICP is fucking Waco and fucking Cottonmouth Kings is fucking OKC. For fuck's sake.
Well, Disney.
I love how I'm so sorry. I'm sorry, Glenn. I love how.
Yeah, I don't know I don't know what the other band you're talking about is, but I'm trying to.
Cottonmouth. Oh, dude, Cottonmouth Kings is the worst fucking thing ever. So basically, it's this group of dudes who have been like, when they first came out and started doing their thing, it was semi-relevant because they were kind of teenagery, 20-year-old kids living in a suburban life, bitching about suburban life. Now they're fucking 40-year-old members of the homeowners association bitching about fucking suburban life. It's like, listen,
there's a lot of that.
You haven't,
not to compare everything to comedy, but there's a lot of that in comedy too. Of like people.
You haven't listened to Chancy. You haven't listened to their newest stuff. You have no idea what the hell they're talking about now.
I've also not listened to his stuff, but I think I agree with Chancy.
See, no, there's even actually, if you want to go back, you can actually, there is an episode where myself and the guests spend almost the entire fucking episode just fucking like 6th degree burning, roasting Jeremy on this album. Like fucking.
I mean, it's the thing I said before of like, I really love the commitment to the bit of Guar, to a lesser extent ICP, but the thing I like least is like that kind of inauthenticity of like, even I'm from Jersey and I don't like Bruce Springsteen and I take a lot of heat for it, but it's like, yeah, I mean, he's rapping about, or not rapping. If Springsteen dropped a rap album, it would be tremendous. But he's great. Like singing about, you know, the mean streets of Jersey from his mansion, and it's like, bud, that's not your life anymore. You gotta move on, pal. You gotta write about other stuff. And he's just like stuck with this character for arguably too long.
Yeah, but I mean, I gotta say though, ICP does definitely, they stick to the gimmick. They're not like Cottonmouth Kings in that regard. They definitely stuck to the gimmick and they evolved. I will say nice things, but at the same time, bust his balls.
Authentic to like this. Like I said, you know, this is what they want to do. They're like, if the goal is we want to be weird murder clowns, then they're crushing it in that regard.
That actually wasn't the goal. They started off just as a group of regular rappers.
Yeah, the paint came later, right? I don't know what.
No,
time
they always
Their-
had the paint.
No, they didn't. Their
They
first
didn't?
album, their first album they released under the JJ Boy, or I'm sorry, under Inner City Posse, was literally just 3 guys that look like white guys trying to be black, and like all rappers in the '80s. But so I mean, before that they didn't do the clown shit. The next album they did, Joseph Bruce, Violent J, had a dream one night about a dark carnival. And he took it as a message from God that he needs to preach the dark carnival as a way to get rid of all the sinners and evildoers.
What a great sentence.
If you read his book Behind the Paint, it actually is a very
I'm not
interesting
gonna be doing
chapter.
He's like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not doing that.
Honestly, it's one of the best. He didn't write it, obviously. He had a ghostwriter, of course, but it is one of the best biographies I've ever read. Like, it's so entertaining.
Do you want to know a great biography by someone who refused to use a ghostwriter and insisted on writing himself, and you can absolutely tell, is Mr. T by Mr. T.
Oh my God.
I'm so good on that.
There's so much of the beginning of it is him talking about why he wouldn't use a ghostwriter, and it's written.
Please tell me that. Oh yes. Yes, I was going to say, please tell me that it refers to him in the third person an innumerable amount of times.
He's pitying fools.
Oh, no.
Mama. It is one of the best books I've ever read in my life.
Oh, that makes my heart happy.
Well, I mean, and basically, ICP, they started rapping in '89, so they've been around as long as Gwar has. And was Gwar at Woodstock '99? Do you know off the top of your head, Chancy?
I do not know off the top of my head. No,
I don't know.
I'm trying to.
I don't think they were. I don't think Gwar was at. If they were, they weren't on any of the main stages. So they would have never been close enough or involved with any of the skullduggery over the last couple.
Yeah. Well, no.
Well, not the last. Not the last couple, but the most notorious ones. Yeah.
I mean, because I'm trying to think if ICP and Gwar have ever been on the same concert even together. I don't think they hang out.
I mean, I would say Google it because I mean, I don't necessarily think that it would be a thing, but fuck it, dude, it totally could possibly be a thing.
I bet they're friends.
Okay, they have been playing together since the late '90s. And
it would make perfect sense for them to be asked to go to the gathering.
They have played the gathering 4 times since 2008.
Well, there you go.
All right.
Do you think they talk about how annoying it is that they have to get to the venue so early to get ready because there's so much makeup? And
ICP does. ICP doesn't though because they fucking slap their face paint on. I swear to God,
they're probably almost by now.
I get. Well, now they never use makeup artists either. It's always them painting their own faces. That's the way they always.
That's a thing for legit clowns. Is they take that shit very seriously.
That's a fact. Yeah,
I would
there's no lie there.
I would think by now though they just have one of those already pre-painted things they just have to put in their face and then they just peel it off and it's already.
Well, I mean, not to bring him up again, but Mr. T did that with all the gold chains. Because it took so long to put.
He just fused them together.
He brought him to a jeweler, and they just cut the back, put a bar, and had one link. So he just took it on and off as one big thing.
Huh?
All makes sense. But I mean, ICP now 35 years later, basically has had their own massive concert for the last 25 years, where they've helped launch multiple rap careers, multiple rock careers. I mean, there are so many bands at these gatherings that you have never heard of, but you will hear them because of being at the gathering, and eventually they get a following. There literally is a band that reminded me of Gwar. I saw a couple years ago advertised for the gathering where it's guys dressed in Transformers costumes.
Yes, I've seen.
Oh yeah, I think I've heard of them. Yeah,
but I mean, it's just ICP is incredible. But
there is a great book by a writer that I like, Nathan Raymond, wrote. I think it's called "You Don't." I know. I just looked it up. It's "You Don't Know Me, But You Don't Like Me," and it is a book about Insane Clown Posse, Fish, and I think one other act where it's just people have really strong opinions about these bands, and without knowing anything about them. And Most of what I
That's
know
funny
about
'cause
ICP comes from I've not read that book, but I've seen like excerpts and heard him talk about it in interviews. But also there's an NPR host and podcaster that I really like, Jesse Thorne, and he did it was like a TED Talk style like
yeah.
presentation for creatives called Make Your Thing, and he uses ICP as an example of guys who like do a great job of building an audience around themselves. And in the talk, he keeps making the point. He's like, I don't like them as a band, but like you have to respect the effort that they put into like building a community around themselves. Not just like, oh, these are fans we can make money off of, but like really reaching out to these people,
Yeah.
realizing what it is that people like about them, and then giving those people more of that thing. So I saw him do that presentation, and since then it's like, yeah, like I don't necessarily want to listen to Insane Clown Posse, but like I get it's not even I saying I get the appeal isn't necessarily what I mean, but it's like when I was
But
listening to the album today, it's like I can see how if this hit me at like a different time in my life, I would have found it much more relatable than I do now as like a boring 40-year-old father of two. But if I
that
was
makes
like,
sense.
Yeah.
if
I mean,
I
well,
felt like if I was a really alienated teen when this dropped, I'd be like, yeah, I might see
Yeah,
how this would grab me.
that was
well,
actually kind of where I was at with it when I came across ICP. So yeah, it makes perfect sense.
I mean, I didn't really get into them until I was in college, but I was an alienated kid in college, so it kind of did sink in. But you kind of, I mean, I don't know if you were an alienated or not, but you were a teenager when they first came out. So like they were around
I
when you
don't
were a
think I
teenager.
heard. I think even less than Guar. Like I knew that they existed. I knew there was this band of dudes who painted their faces like clowns and rapped about murder. But that didn't.
And just they paint up and they rap about death. That's all I got.
Yeah, that
They're
didn't make me
hard.
go, oh, I should check those guys out. There was
See,
like one super fan in my high school, but he was a huge jerk. So it's like, oh, well, this guy that I
Ooh,
don't like likes his band, so I probably wouldn't like that band.
that
see
sucks.
that was the problem in high school. I knew nobody that liked ICP. I didn't know anybody that liked ICP in high school. I never even heard of them
Yeah,
until
there was
I
just
mean,
this one kid.
I did find them on LimeWire eventually, and that's how I first started getting into them. And actually, one of the songs on this album is the first song I ever heard on LimeWire, and it's what got me into them. But I'll get to that.
LimeWire. Fucking such a
I u-
youthful lad.
I used Napster too for like a month or two before it got taken down officially. But
I know, but that's what's funny is that you only got it for like a month or two, and I had it, and I got it for fucking
Napster was
actually,
like middle school and high school for me, and then we all switched over to LimeWire and Kazaa, and then we all
See,
got
I
viruses
used
on our computer.
see that's like I never used Kazaa or LimeWire. I always used Winamp because it was much more secure. You were less likely to get the what is it the compu herpes.
There's
yeah.
a great. I don't remember what show it was. I was listening to a podcast and they talked about like the history of Winamp. Um,
I also liked that little Winamp player that you could
Omnibus, maybe?
customize with the skins.
Yeah, you could reskin it. That was always a
So
lot of fun.
fucking awesome. And then, oh, I'm sorry, Winamp was the player that I used. WinMX was the program I used to download.
Yeah,
Oh,
I don't remember Winamp being a file
I was
sharing.
I was gonna say
Yeah, it was WinMX.
I mean I was saying like I remember Windows Media Player. I used that like crazy back in the day,
Yeah.
but I never
Yeah,
fucking. But Glenn, what did you
sorry.
think of this? It's all good, dude. What did you think of this album event? I know how you feel about ICP, but what did you think of this album after listening to it?
Sure. I mean, I didn't enjoy it as much as the Guar one, but I don't want to just come up on your show and dump on an album you like. That seems rude.
No,
It's not
that's
the
cool.
first
We
time it
do it.
happened.
We do it all the time.
I
Not the
mean,
first time.
I
Not the first
honestly,
time.
it feels like the lowest bar for a compliment, but I didn't hate it. Like when I saw the ones that you sent over, I'm like, I don't I don't know. I maybe made a mistake
I
agreeing to
made a
do this.
mistake.
Uh,
Oh no, that's
I
even
did end
better.
up enjoying more or both of them more than I thought that I would.
Oh god, that's great.
overall, the thing that I did genuinely enjoy about the album is like all the weird kind of interstitial stuff.
Yes.
Where like I grew up, we would listen to like the Adam Sandler sketch records a ton, or like Cheech and Chong, where there's like so much. It's not just like song. It's like, here's this weird introduction of a broken jukebox, and then that's gonna like set up this world, and then there's gonna be weird interstitials of like not really sketches, but like scenes with
Skits.
characters, and it does
Kind of
like
like the
fill out this mythology, and it's like, yeah, that again, like to the point of like they're very good at what they do. Like, yeah, this does I can see how this sets up like a real world for people that they want to like live in, and they want to go to, where do they do the gathering? Is it
Escape.
Ohio? No, Detroit, right?
Detroit. It varies.
Detroit. No, they're in Detroit. They're in Detroit always.
Is it always in the same spot?
That's
Because
where
I
they're
thought they'd
from,
use
right?
different venues. Yeah, I know they're from Detroit, but I thought they
I
used
mean,
different venues. That's my bad.
They don't. Well, they do use different venues, but they usually don't specify in like the skits like where they are. It's just in. Well, I mean, like I said, in the first album, in your town, like that's like they literally said like the carnival's in your town, so it's
Yeah.
wherever you are, this stuff is happening.
Yeah.
Carnival Carnage.
I forget which song, but they make a specific reference to Detroit on the album. But like,
Oh, they reference Detroit in every album at some point.
the thing,
Yeah.
but that thing they do with like they'll pull, I don't know, the one sounded authentic, and then a lot of them sounded more like a skit. But it's just like we're gonna take the audio from this old thing, which was like kind of common in the era, like other bands were doing this.
Sampling, yeah.
Like,
I'm
I
a
mean, not
huge
even just, like,
sucker for
music
a
was
sample.
but like Everclear has one where it's just like, here's like 30 seconds of like a preacher broadcast that we're gonna put at the beginning of this song for some reason.
All right.
Or like Polaris did it, the band from Pete and Pete. Cake, I think, had one.
Pete and Pete.
And,
God, I
Pete and
fucking
Pete.
remember Pete and
It's so good.
Pete.
And
Me
it's
too.
that was like a 90s thing where they're like, we're gonna take just this weird clip. White Stripes did it too, and it's just like, I don't know why I love it. I don't know if it's just because I'm the right age where like that was a common thing when I was in middle school and high school, where it's like, I like it when bands do that. I like it when there's a weird audio clip from a thing and I don't know what the thing is, and then a song starts right after.
It
So
could
all
be,
that
yeah.
stuff,
It could be us. It could be us because I like the same thing.
yeah. Like,
And
I don't
we're, and
know
we're
what
like,
my 10 and 5-year-old would be like, oh yeah, I like it when there's old timey radio in the middle of my song, but I enjoy it.
like I fell in love with Thunder Kiss 65 based on that whole I don't try anything, I just do it. And then it goes dun dun dun. You want to try me? Fucking sold. I fucking oh my god.
But overall, like
Well-
all the like lore of it, I did really enjoy. Again, like it didn't really vibe with me, but it's like in a way where you go see a movie where you're like, I don't like this story, but like the effects are great. It looks beautiful. Where it's like, yeah, there's, stuff I enjoyed about it, but it's like, yeah, I'm probably not gonna, rock out to this album on my
Well,
next
I get-
long drive to Canada. But
Well, I guarantee you two things. One, if you actually listen to all 6 Joker cards in the original deck in order, you will be so engrossed with the lore that you will.
I don't know what
freaking
that means,
be-
man.
So
If you listen
essentially,
to-
okay. So
if you listen to-
essentially, go ahead, dude. Just go ahead and explain it.
If you listen to their first 6 LPs like that they did, don't listen to the ones in between, but the first 6 LPs they did. If you look up online, they'll tell you what the Joker card deck is. But
Yeah.
basically, if you listen to 6 of those in a row, the story is so like in depth that you'll be sucked in, like, and you'll be like, oh my god, this is actually good story to some degree. I mean, it's not gonna be no Stephen King, but still, it's gonna be a good story. But I guarantee you too that even at 40 years old as a father too, if you went to an ICP concert for shit and giggles at this point, I'm not telling you to paint your face or anything. Their live shows are some of the most fun nights I've had in my life.
I've put on clown makeup for worse reasons, man.
I never have painted my face. I refuse to paint my face because I didn't get into until my
I
20s,
literally
but
used to work as a birthday clown. Like, yeah, I've done. I've
Oh no shit, huh?
yeah.
Birthday clowns. That's rough. That's a rough go.
It's one of the worst jobs I've ever had.
Yeah, no, I can imagine. I can imagine that. It sucks because, like, I come from circus folks, so like, we know we don't think too about clowns and birthday clowns. That's just about that's like Skid Row for Clownville.
Yeah.
Man, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, my friend. I'm sorry.
I made it through. I made it out.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm
Glad you made it
basically a
through.
clown now. It's just I don't have to.
Yeah.
I don't have to juggle. I do, but it's not a requirement.
Nice.
Well, Chancy,
Yes,
I'm
sir.
kind of curious. Well, I'm not kind of curious. I kind of already know.
So what do you mean?
What do you think of Great Milenko?
Dude, I actually I forgot about, because like when I came across ICP for the outside of the Carnival of Carnage, of course, because I came across the Carnival I came across the Carnival of Carnage through a friend of mine, and outside of that, every other ICP song that I ever came across was through fucking Napster and WinMX and shit like that, and I didn't realize that so many of like all of my favorites were from that album, because I actually hadn't heard the Great Milenko album, because essentially somebody I put them all on a burnt CD and was listening to them with a person who is a fan, and they're like, oh, you basically got like the gist of the Great Milenko, so you don't even need to listen to that album, you can just listen to this one instead. And like, I mean, I can't lie, dude. Like, I like it's like, it's basically kind of like it is with Flagpole Sitta, where I was in life, how it came to me, and all that other stuff. Like, it always will have a certain place for me in my whole, member berries.
I mean, yeah, and see, I wish I found this album when I was a kid. I wish I found this album when I was like a preteen, even early teenage years. Like, it would have been,
because like
I probably would have been a way more super fan back then than I ended up being in college.
Like, that's kind of how it was for me, because like I found these guys in like junior high, so like I was like 12 to 14 or so when I first found them. Yeah, it was 12 to 14, because it was like 98, because I remember I got a Gateway 98. That was my first computer. And then I had to make sure not to turn on the speakers until after I had connected to the internet, so the screaming man in the phone line wouldn't wake my parents up when I was trying to download music and play Quake
and watch porn. But yeah,
no, dude, actually I never did, because dude, it was ridiculous. It took so long to download.
It wasn't worth it.
True. Gateway 98. It took like an hour for a picture to load.
The effort versus reward just wasn't there yet.
Well, we might as well get the top fives going on in, because I have my lucky number for this album for my own top, and that of course is 13. Because how could I not? How could I fucking not? One of the greatest combinations of songs ICP ever did put together. I mean, I put Hocus Pocus and Piggy Pie at the bottom of my fucking list. That's because those songs to me are just so. I love those songs, but they're overplayed. I mean, especially Hocus Pocus, like, it's so overplayed. It got so much MTV play back when it came out. It's just ridiculous. It was like one of their first music videos, really. So, and Piggy Pie, I love, but I used to dig into it way too fucking hard, and Piggy Pie just stopped being entertaining after a while. Number 11, though, Southwest Voodoo. That one I fucking love, because that's just there's a song on The Wraith before the unveiling, before they reveal the truth about the carnival. They have like all these clips from like other songs of theirs from the other 5 Joker cards, and like it's just like a 30, maybe even a 20-second clip of like the chorus from like different songs, and it's hilarious, and it's amazing to hear all those clips put together, like all those years put together. Southwest Voodoo is in there as well, and they were clips from that in there, and I love Southwest Voodoo because it's just the beat's amazing, the freaking lyrics are amazing. Number 10, and surprisingly it's this low, is the first ICP song I ever downloaded off LimeWire, and that was The Netting Game. because that was the first ICP song I ever heard was the netting game, and it wasn't even called the netting game.
I
think it
should
was
say
called the
same, but
I think it was called the dating
the
game when I
dating game.
downloaded it.
Yep,
Yeah,
it was on. It was always called the dating game on all the file share sites. Yeah.
but they call it the netting game because netting's what they call a certain body part of a woman. But
Okay.
yeah, I mean, it's in the book why they call it that. I forget why the hell they call it that, but I mean, the
I'm
netting game
genuinely
is
not
one.
even 100% sure which part.
Right.
Well, it's ICP, so you're obviously talking about a woman.
Oh yeah, I mean I've narrowed it down, but
I hope so. But the netting game is one of the funniest fucking songs you ever hear in your life.
For sure.
Like, he was standing on a bucket trying to fuck it.
Fuck it.
Damn,
And it was a
dog.
big old fucking smelly ass farm llama.
Damn, dog. How you gonna dish your mama? Like, oh my god, like the lines in that fucking song are priceless. But
They are epic. I mean, like,
it is
it's
kind of
good
funny
stuff.
when the like contestants turn on each other a bit towards the end.
Right.
Like that's
that
got me a little bit.
Right.
He's a contestant number one is a crazy psychotic circus clown. His friends call him Stretch Nuts. Like, I fucking love it. Like, it's just
Serial killer clown.
And Chancy, just wait when I eventually bring on Shaggy's last EP he dropped. There's actually a song that explains why he's called Stretch Nuts.
Okay.
His nuts got stretched.
I imagine that either that or that they stretch on there, like he's got an unnaturally stretchy sack or something. Mr. Fantastic.
He's Reed Richards with just his sack.
What's that? What'd you say?
Who?
Jeremy. He said something about fucking being close.
I said you'll have to hear it, buddy. I said you'll have to hear it.
Oh, you'll have to hear it. I guess if I must.
But number 9 was, of course, the one that everybody loves, and it took me a long time to even like this song. Like, I did not like the song for a long time when I first heard it, but after seeing it live a couple times, it kind of did sink in, and that's Boogie Woogie Woo.
Okay.
Like, I was not a fan of that song for a long time because I thought it was just too stupid. But after seeing it, after seeing it live and seeing like 6 people underneath this fucking like costume, like it's supposed to be like the boogeyman, like looks like a fucking worm, but it's supposed to be the boogeyman. I don't get that.
Okay.
But
okay.
But
I was with you. I was with you until the worm boogeyman thing, but that's cool.
Well, when they have it on stage, it literally looks like a Chinese dragon.
Oh, okay. That makes more sense. You should have went with that description more than.
I didn't think of that description right away, but that's literally what it looks like. It's like a dragon in a Chinese New Year's parade or something like that. But
no, I see. You can't.
Number 8 was House of Horrors for me because.
Do you
like Nell Carter? No. Good, because you won't find him here. Like the first time I heard that, I had to look up who the fuck Nell Carter was. But I mean, still, it's just like the song is fucking hilarious. I mean, you're born to burn. Shut the fucking door. Like, oh my god, that song. Like, I used to know that song by heart. I can't. That's what pissed me off about listening to ICP nowadays. Is I can't do every rap by heart like I used to be able to. But
you'll have to excuse me. My emotional support cat. My emotional support cat is attempting to protect me from my dangerous snake-like pen and dangerous pad of paper. It's like, bro.
Hey, Casey.
Every time. Oh, Casey's over there in bed, but it's like, for real though. Every time I'm doing this in bed, he'll like lay in bed and like he'll claw at the paper. So like I have to start all fucking over and shit. It's just like, bro, like I don't even need your fucking assistance right now. Like, can you just chill out with me while I listen to this album? For fuck's sake. And he's like, no, I'm going to need that fucking pen.
Well, number 7 for me was Down with the Clown. Because I mean, how could anyone not love that song? How could anyone not love that song? It's just fucking classic. I mean, it's a follower song. They're follower songs they've done over the years. Down with the Clown, Everybody Rise, Juggalo Island, like Juggalo Paradise. Like, there's fucking amazing songs.
Was that like a ripoff of Gangster's Paradise?
No, it's not. It's not called Juggalo
I,
Paradise. I'm trying to think what the fuck it's called. I can't think of one of the.
I'm sorry. It was just a really shitty attempt to try to make
Oh,
a joke.
that's it starts with a P. It's Juggalo Party.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah, but number 6 though. This is when it gets like this is the older me talking for the C now because number 6 and number 5 are kind of theme related, but number 6 is How Many Times because it's just one of those songs that's about true life and it's so fucking everything they say in there is true. Like I go into the DMV to pay a parking ticket. The woman behind the counter just acts like a fucking bitch. You're just a worthless piece of shit. I go out to my car and what do I see? Another parking ticket. Like it's life. It's the fucking Murphy's Law of life. Like shit always fucks up. But then number 5 kind of hits the same light because it's Under the Moon. Because like that that life where like you truly love someone, but then you just do something for them that you shouldn't have done, and it fucks you over for a long time. Like that's and like it starts off as like a romantic song, like we'll always be together because we're both under the moon. But then it turns to the end like I'm gonna fucking kill this bitch because we're both under the moon still. Like it's like okay, I love that turn. I love that turn. It's life. And
okay.
then the next 2 got to go with my views on religion because number 4 is "Pass Me By," the last song on the fucking CD. Because it actually, I mean, whether you believe in heaven or in hell or religion at all that shit, "Pass Me By" is actually a nice thing to think about. Like the way they sing it, the way they rap it, it's just a to think that all that exists when you die makes it worthwhile almost to live. Like, I mean, all you can eat, fucking nice car, like you have everything provided for you when you get there is fucking awesome. And plus the song before it that's not on my list, but I love the song before it that like kind of leads up to like him getting shot and like the final song taking place. But and number 3 is Hallelujah, because I fucking hated televangelists my whole life, and that song that makes fun of televangelists I fucking love. We were just talking about faith healers in my other podcast, Global Strangeness, this past Sunday, and I actually sent that song to all my fucking co-hosts and be like, "All right, this is a song I was talking about on the air." Like it's just like a, I hate those fucking televangelists. I hate the faith healers on TV that like scam people out of their money. And he's like, "I'll get you God's autograph, Allah's, Buddha's too. Doesn't matter to me." But number 2 though, what is a Juggalo? Because it is one of the best fucking songs ever written by them.
Ooh,
He'll
you
eat
gonna be so mad.
He'll eat Monopoly and shit out Connect 4. Like that's just fucking hilarious.
I wrote
You
the
gonna
same
be
line
so
down.
mad.
Yeah.
It's
You
a
gonna be
classic.
so mad.
And plus, I mean, the whole he'll dip his nuts in your soup. Oops, like that's
Honestly, that line kind of turned it around for me in terms of like being kind of skeptical to like actually I think some of this might be kind of good. It's genuinely really funny, and then one of them says it, and then the other one like stops them. And he's like, "No, just keep going. Don't worry about it."
Like, nah, yeah, keep going. Just keep it
oh yeah,
going.
because he's like, shit Monopoly. He'll eat Monopoly and shit out Connect 4, and the other one's like, and Shaggy's like, huh? That doesn't make sense. Don't worry about it. Just keep rapping. Keep rapping.
Yeah.
Like it's just.
Don't worry about it.
Like,
Just keep it flow.
they do the
That's good
same thing.
stuff.
They do the same thing in a song in the next album, Jekyll Brothers, where it's like it's called "I Want My Shit," and it's about like one of them being alive, immortal, and like traveling through time, like in different places. And he's talking about the Civil War. He's like, I crossed enemy lines with my Mac 10. He's like, and Shaggy jumps in. He's like, they didn't even have those back then.
Yeah.
And then like Jay gets back around. He's like, crossed enemy lines with a lantern.
With a lantern.
Like it's just funny like the way like the way that on purpose they like make them like they catch each other in raps and shit on purpose. Obviously, it's all written, but
Yeah.
and
Right.
number one is what I have said during our ICP bracket we did last year. During anytime I talk about ICP, this song is the fucking best song they've ever done, and the music video is actually pretty fucking awesome too. But Hall of Illusions is my number one fucking song. I know my good friend Freddie Fisher agrees with me it's the best song they've ever done as well, because it's just such an accurate song, like people living these fake lives. Like,
You gonna be
oh,
so
look at
mad.
both your son and daughter are in honors class and they're the head of their baseball teams, like all this good shit. Nope, they're sitting at home smoking crack and your daughter's got nut stains on her back. Like it's like fucking like it's just the rawness in that song. And then because Slash plays the guitar in that song.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so they met Slash at I think their agent at the time or their manager got Slash to come in and do it, and like they say in the book that all Slash did was talk shit about Axl Rose the whole time, but
Basically, yeah. Because that was the whole,
breakup
falling out period. Yeah.
yeah. But I mean, that song is just so real, and like in the video that you can on the music video, like it's just like a carnival ride basically. Like it's two people getting in a car, like they're going through and they're seeing like it's like a dark ride. They're seeing all these scenes like jump out at them and stuff, and I fucking love it. Like and the whole like Great Milenko wave your wand thing they do for the chorus. It's so sick with the guitar riff behind it. I mean, it's just to me, it's always been the best song. I actually the one of my favorite pairs of pants I had for like fucking 15 years is a pair of light blue, dark blue army pants that Shaggy 2 Dope is wearing in that video. Like I had those for so long until they ripped, and I was like so pissed when that happened. Those were the most comfy pants in the fucking world. But the only thing I was missing is the dreadlocks from that video. But I'm too white to pull that
It's
off.
probably a good
Unlike
choice.
Unlike them. I mean, they can pull it off white. They did for years. But I mean, yeah. So I mean, Hall of Illusions is the best fucking song ICP has ever done. It's so metal. It's so truthful. Like I like songs that point at the fakeness of reality, and that song hits the fucking nail on the head with the hammer of life, basically. I love that they point that out, and I mean, when you hear them talk about that song in the book too, like when they were writing it, like that's why the book's so good because it tells you why they wrote these songs the way they did, and it's just like it gets in deep. It's like, oh my god, these guys are actually intelligent to some degree. It's amazing. I never thought they were until I read the book. But that's my top 13 for Great Milenko. And
Yeah, right.
I'll stop before this ends up being a 3-hour show. But what were your top 5 there, Glenn, for ICP?
Sure. I was interested to hear yours, and then every time we had one of the same ones, I got like excited, and then I remembered the premise of the show is we're pulling from the same album, so it's like, yeah, I mean the odds are pretty high. I would put Southwest Voodoo as my honorable mention because I mean I didn't like connect with it on any real level other than like, yeah, like you said, the beat's kind of good, like it just was nice to listen to. Number 5, I will give it to What Is a Juggalo. Because like I'm again just like the world building stuff of it all, like as kind of an outsider to this, listening to it and being like, oh yeah, like I get all the stuff that I know about fans of this band are like reference, and it's like, oh, so this is like where that come from. And then like just throughout the album, the number of times they talk about like hatchets or whatever, it's like, oh yeah, I could see why that tattoo makes more sense now. Like that kind of realization.
Motherfucking Hatchet Man.
Yeah. I Boogie Woogie. I did also like it was like a much harder version of the song Oogie Boogie sings in Nightmare Before Christmas.
Right.
You got a hatchet tattoo? Is that what that is?
Yeah, he's got a Hatchet Man tattoo. Yeah, he even did the call sign as well. Jesus Christ.
Nice.
West Side E.
I forget where I left off. Oh, Boogie Woogie. House of Horrors, I also liked. I made the note that if I was in high school, this would be hilarious. Which I don't mean like, oh, because you'd have to be like a dumb high school. It's just like, yeah, the stuff that I liked in high school, I would have absolutely jumped on board with this. Now at 40, it's like a little bit of a disconnect, but it's like, no, you're right. Like it's a pretty funny song. I also really liked Halls of Illusion, but that is my number 2. And again, just like kind of all the lore and world building stuff that gets laid out in that song. Even like the intro with like then just repeating the Milenko thing. It's like, yeah, like it's like the beat of it is like pretty chill.
Yeah. Do you like the intro?
Because when I had it like set to just like loop the album without realizing it, and then like the
second
through when that started, it's like, yeah, like just the guy kind of like whispering it, like, yeah, Great Milenko, Great it's like, yeah, like you kind of get into it. I can see how like,
And then
being
it goes
young-
into the Great Milenko.
yeah, it's like
Yeah.
it's nice. But my favorite song on the album is Under the Moon.
Oh,
And
nice.
I think it is because it reminds me, like there's one of my other favorite bands, Catch 22, has a song, What Goes Around Comes Around. One of my wife's favorite bands, Something Corporate, has a song, I think Save You. And it's like a similar like theme of a guy does like extreme thing for girl and then it doesn't pay off. And it's like just the narrative of the song, it's like like they're telling a whole story, like there's a clear through line of it in a way that uh I liked
That's
just the
solid.
whole kind of like vigilante spurned storyline throughout it. And it's like, yeah, like this is a thing that I've heard in other songs, but it's like other songs that I enjoy. So yeah, I like that one.
I like that
I mean,
perspective. That's really cool, man.
I mean, the whole like change part where he's like, I write a letter every day. She never writes back, but I'll write one
Yeah.
anyway. And it's like, oh, like that's where you know it's about to get creepy as shit.
Yeah.
I mean, there's
It's like a Joker origin story, basically, where it's like, oh, I'm going to do this thing, and then everything's going to be okay, and it's going to be good, and then it's not.
well, it depends what Joker origin story you're talking about, because there's like
I think he's talking about the Joaquin Phoenix movie.
maybe, yeah, but
I guess I mean the platonic ideal of a Joker origin story.
but I mean, but it's they also do a bonus song on a CD I brought in here for ICP, Bang Pow Boom, where it's called Our Hero, and it's basically.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
I got something to add at the end.
But it's basically a song about Shaggy escaping from jail because he hears his girlfriend on the phone like getting fucked by another guy.
Oh, right.
He escapes from jail and like ends up killing her and the boyfriend, her and the new guy, and then like he sneaks back into the mental hospital and like he's just like nothing ever happened.
Like,
It's hilarious.
Can
Darndest
you? What are
thing.
the other versions of the album? Because that came up on.
Oh, like
like
remasters and
the
stuff like
cover was
that.
like a different color. So there's like a green,
Yeah.
a red one, and a blue one.
That was a remaster, and then there was
genres were different for all three. But then when I put it on, it sounded the same. So like it wasn't like there's a rock version of the song, and there's a metal version of the song. I think it was just classified differently.
There's a. Actually, I can't fucking find it really, but oh wait,
because it shows up when I looked the album up on Apple Music.
Yeah.
And then at the end it says other versions, and there's just like different colored covers with the same.
It did it for YouTube Music on mine as well. I know the one with the green face, like
that's the one that
weird. The one like there's like a different one. But one of them is a remaster.
Okay,
one of the two.
Yeah. Well, I mean, originally there was two versions of this CD to begin with, because there's the Disney released one, which is really hard to find nowadays.
Yeah.
And then there was the one that ICP redid because they had to. They basically had to. And I'm trying to look at it. Actually, there's two. All right, yeah, there are two versions of this on Spotify. The original green one, and then there's a yellow one. It's the 20th anniversary version of Great Milenko. And there's a second disc with a lot of songs that were taken off the original album and like remixes of other songs as well. Like there's a different mix for What Is a Juggalo in that one and whatnot. So
got it.
Basically like a remaster. But yeah, anniversary edition.
20th anniversary, because this 20th anniversary would have been 2017. So
yeah.
But Chancy, what were your top 5 for Great Milenko?
Man, I hope you're sitting down, because like I gave a great review, because this is like one of my I've been super excited about this episode for up until today, because like all day long today I was so busy at work I wasn't able to actually get my songs down, because like I was able to listen to all the albums and get your guys's picks written out except for mine. And so like I was stressing, and it wasn't until like a couple hours before I got off work that I had the ability to kind of like get it done. And I'm sorry, I'm stalling because Jeremy's going to be really pissed. So I got 3 honorable mentions for mine. Number 8 is the Hall of Illusions.
Motherfucker.
But that's the best one I've heard.
I mean, I know, and that's why I had to put it on the list because it you know,
It's
just
nice that you
one
kept it in there for your friend.
kind of like that. Like I knew it's one of his favorites. I gave it a shot because it was kind of one of the first times that I had heard it. I've heard it before, but like I never really put much effort into listening to it, and I wanted to give it a shot for Jeremy. And I was like, that's got to go on the fucking list, absolutely for sure. And then number 7 is How Many Times? Or no, I'm sorry. Number 7 was Piggy Pie.
There's 2 versions of that song. There's the other version I like better, I think.
What? To Piggy Pie?
On one of the Forgotten Freshness EPs they did, there's a another version of that song. I think it's called the old school version.
Okay. Fair enough. Let's see. Number 6 is How Many Times? Number 5 is What Is a Juggalo? Number 4 is The Great Milenko. Number 3 is Hocus Pocus. Always did love Hocus Pocus. It was fucking. I like just like how it.
There's a Headhunter. There's a version of that called the Headhunters version. I like better, but
fair enough. And number 2 for me is Boogie Woogie Woo. That was actually one of the like between like after Carnival of Carnage. Like I said, my friend had, so I was able to listen to that whole CD. Like when I downloaded it off the internet from Napster and shit, like the ones that I got was like the Net and Game and fucking Piggy Pie and Boogie Woogie Woo was the 3 ones that I got like right out the gate. But like I said, Boogie Woogie Woo is number 2, and then number 1 for me is the intro.
I mean the intro. Of course, you like the intro. I mean, it is fun. It is funny, but
no, dude, I'm playing. Number 1's gonna be the Net and Game. I had to go back.
I loved watching that play out.
Oh, have you not seen this before?
No, but like the look you dropped intros number 1 and then just sat there smiling, waiting for him to
so okay. Now you made me tell the Cosby story. All right, now I'm going to tell this story. Okay, so like, if Jeremy, like, anytime Jeremy picks an album, especially if it's one that I don't particularly care for, or if like I just really want to fuck with him, if it's got like little skit tracks in between, or like intros or instrumentals or anything like that. Like there was one album where there were enough skits, intros, and instrumentals that I made like my entire top 5, all skits and stuff like that. And then like
you did that with your CD with
I'm gonna
Eminem.
bring a friend.
Oh yeah, with Eminem. Yeah. I did it with Eminem. That was what I did it with, just to fuck with him. And then on his, like I said, I always just like, if it's got an intro or some shit like that, like it always inherently goes straight to number 1. And then like it caught him off guard, obviously, because obviously he's like, what the fuck is this? Like, this is fucking bullshit. And I was fucking with him. And I think he caught on that I was fucking with him. So then I actually started coming up with like actual top 5s or like number 1s to go inside, like in this case with the Net and Game. But like every now and then I'll just like leave it as is. So like, cause he was waiting for a second, cause he was just like, oh, of course you like the fucking intro. And then he kind of stopped and waited again for a second. Like, is he really fucking pulling the trigger on this one, or is he fucking with me?
Right.
Probably like one of my, like, I'd say between that and like roasting him about his albums are probably like the equal favorite things to do with this show. It's like, it's part of what gets me out of bed in the morning.
when his girlfriend doesn't do that, I have to take care of it for me sometimes, But well, listeners, musers, we brought you an album 3 as always. In our longest running episode ever, we brought you 3 amazing albums. Well, 2 great albums and 1 album that I'm learning to love. Sorry, Glenn.
I didn't write it.
Right?
I know, but people like me get offended when people don't like their music. Chancy, you motherfucker. But so yeah,
we're
I
even
mean,
in
so-
terms of I feel like how we the length to which we enjoyed each other's albums. I can't get mad at you for not liking Merrymakers more.
I mean,
Right.
it definitely is a good album. It's just not one I put on and repeat. I mean, in all honesty, I can't even listen to Great Milenko that often anymore. Like, it's just, if a song from it comes on, I'm in the mood, then sure. But like, I never sit down and really listen to ICP albums all the way through unless it's for the show. Like, it's just not.
I mean, same.
I mean, ICP is great when you're delivering pizza for hours upon hours. And
I could see that, yeah.
when you're delivering pizza for hours upon hours and you're drinking while doing it, then yeah, ICP is great.
I don't recommend that.
Or if you're high, I recommend it. Or if you're high off your ass while delivering pizza for hours in your early 20s, then yes, ICP is great. But I mean, but there are also a lot darker hardcore groups that I like besides ICP that I prefer to listen to. So, I mean,
Yeah, dude. There was one time that like I was listening to the album that he like presented to the show, and I was kind of under the weather. And I know you said you're not much of a wrestling fan, but I'm assuming you know who Mick Foley is.
Yeah.
Yep, perfect. So do you remember there was one match that he was in where he didn't want to tap out, so he gave himself the mandible claw until he passed out?
I don't remember that, but
it doesn't matter. But that's something that actually happened in a wrestling ring. And I literally equated the same scenario to listening to that album because I literally just like passed the fuck out rather than have to listen to that fucking album.
Oh man,
you know that was a good laugh when it made him with you. You know it was a good laugh when it made him cough even harder. All right, that's fucking that made my whole night right there.
You were sick when you were trying to listen to that shit. You need to go back and listen to it when you weren't sick.
I listened to it twice. Once when I felt better, and then once while I was sick. So like I gave it a second fucking strafing run, and I wish I would have sunk it.
Dude, Scum is amazing.
You sunk my crapple ship.
I've seen him live. Scum's amazing, but he's a rapper from Russia that has an accent still, and it's freaking amazing. But and he likes it. He's I literally my story time for a concert, I guess, before we wrap up.
Yay!
I was at a rap show that Scum was headlining with my cousin, who was not really into hardcore, but he went just for the fun of it. And literally, like, Scum starts rapping, and like he has like this big sack tied up to a pole on the stage. It's supposed to be a dead body, and
sack.
And basically, like he'll hump it during the show and whatnot. He gets to this one song, and he has a knife in his hand. He's just like, cut her from the pussy to the throat. Cut her from the pussy to the throat. And like, it's just, my cousin's like, I'm gonna go sit at the bar. I'll see you after this set. And my cousin just walks away, and I'm just like sitting there like, okay, yeah. Like, Scum is true hardcore. Like, there's hardcore artists out there that would like some of the songs they do make me like have to sit back and be like, that's not okay. That's not okay. That's not okay. That's not okay. But I'm gonna love it anyway.
And it was at that moment that we lost Glen.
I mean, I had a more mild version of that reaction to some of the stuff today, where it was just like, God. But yeah, I powered through. Well, I got through Guar.
Well, thank God it was 97 and Scum and all those things weren't really a thing yet for another 10 years or so. So
yeah, thank God indeed, for real.
Chancy, you will be getting there's like 20 Scum albums out there, so you're gonna be getting.
Oh, dude, I know, but remember, you need to like really think this through when you're making me listen to stuff that you know that you're trying to torment me with, because you don't even know what my nuclear option is, dude. Glen, check it out, right? I went and dove straight down a rabbit hole to find some of the most disturbing pieces of sound, we'll call it. They refer to it as music, but
like noise rock or whatever.
not even. It's like it's worse than that. But like, I'm waiting for him to be like, "Oh, I'm gonna fucking do this," and it's like, "Well, welcome to my fucking nuclear option." It's an hour and 1 minute, and I made it 3 minutes into the album and shut it off because I was like, "Nah, I can't do this." Because I was gonna be like, "Okay, well, I'll listen to the album so that way I'll already know what I'm gonna choose." So that way, fucking. And the best part about it is that like I've got it picked out in a way that I know for a fact because of my friends and co-hosts fucking humor base that when he sees this album that I present to him, he's going to be super fucking excited, stoked, and amused by it because of just the craziness behind it all. And then fucking as soon as he pushes play, he's going to immediately know that he now lives in Pripyat and fucking Chernobyl is about to go down.
We shall see, Chancy Pants. We shall see. But Glenn, we're so happy to have you on because it's been a
Thank you for
fun
having me, guys. It was a blast.
and you have set the record for the longest episode we ever done. So congratulations.
I talk too much.
I interrupted far too much. I'm that's kind of what I do. I get excited. I'm JoJo the Idiot Circus Boy.
No, it was worth it. I had a great time.
I did too, and that's part of what it was, man.
And folks, don't worry. We're recording another weekend special episode this weekend, and it's gonna be a rocking episode. So come check that out. I'm not gonna reveal any of the bands yet because there's some big albums in there that people will recognize immediately, and one album that maybe not so much. But we'll get to that on this Saturday. But Glenn, where can they find you, your comedy, and everything you do?
Sure. I'm just at Glen Tickle across all the social media platforms that I'm still on. And I put out a special a couple weeks ago, Glen Tickle against the World Crime League, that is free to watch on my YouTube channel.
And it's coming soon to store, the Tickle Me Glenn stuffed animals just in time for Christmas.
Yeah, I need new merch, so I'll take it under advisement.
Tickle Me Glenn. Not to be confused with the other red one, but that is creepy and demonic. But
yeah,
Chancy, where can they find you?
Got popular like my freshman year of high school. It could not have been more poorly timed for me.
I'm sure. But Chancy, where can they find you besides the Void?
Well, obviously, as you said, the Void. But as usual, for the 1,386th day consecutively now, the world's most uneventful scavenger hunt continues. This down here is my real name. That's my real first name. If you can find me on Facebook, then you have won the scavenger hunt. On TikTok and on Instagram, it's the Red Eye Roundtable. On X, it's Red Eye Table. And let's see. Obviously, I can be found on YouTube under Maniacal Music Musings. And on Facebook, I can be found on the uncensored, unapologetic, and untamed fucking podcast collective group thing. And then I think if I'm also not mistaken, we're also like streaming out to a thing called the Blind Knowledge Network, because all knowledge was blind until Jeremy fucking figured it the fuck out and got better, bud. Fucking fuck you. I've been waiting to do that for so long.
Motherfucking stole my thunder. Motherfucker stole my thunder.
So let's hear your outro now, sir. This motherfucker comes in with over the top intros, and I literally just like came like just straight off the top of my head, all of the shit. I always forget. I fuck it up all the time. I'm literally the worst at this.
Well, since Chancy did most of the work for me tonight, folks, just remember, you can find us on Twitter and XXBaby in the gram as that Juggalo Bastard. And you can find us on TikTok as that Juggalo Bastard Podcast. And you can also find us streaming live on Parapost Network on Facebook now, a home for all podcasts and vodcasts all around the world. And just remember, you could be paranormal too, just like Chancy every day of your life. Have a good night, musers. Well, if you got through all this, God bless you. We'll see you next episode. Peace. And Glenn, thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me, guys.